Okay, so I'm going to share this with as many people as I can. We're going to be talking about manifesting tonight, and hopefully you'll join us. I think it's a good idea. I think we all need, and hopefully you'll join us. I think it's a good idea. I think we all need, and hopefully you'll join us. I think it's a good idea. I think we all need, and hopefully you'll join us. I think it's a good idea. I think we all need, okay, sorry about that. I'm just trying to get people to join. Okay, so today, I want to first of all apologize for the delay in continuing our reading of Mind Power into the 21st Century. There was part 1, part 2. It's on my YouTube channel if you missed part 1. Part 1 is really important because part 1 is going to be talking about the holographic universe, and it's rudimentary things, right? So if you want to learn how to get out of your situation and be more abundant, health, wealth, love, all of these things, then this book is incredible. So I'm going to wait until we get 9 people. I'll probably repeat myself one more time, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to be continuing. We're on chapter 10. I'll be reading it out loud to you and, of course, uploading it. And if we do 5 chapters today, we'll also do some oracle reading to see what the messages are for you guys on the collective. And I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Can somebody tell me, can you hear me? And how many people are on the screen? Because I can't see. It looks like 0. So if anyone wants to, volunteer and letting me know how many people are actually on, because then I can start right away. Because so far what I'm seeing is 0. And I just want to see. So we're reading again, Mind Power into the... I can. Perfect. Okay. Can you tell me how many people, Barbara, are on the live right now? Because I'll start immediately. I'm not going to wait. I'm hoping for 9. Usually that's my favorite number. And if 9 comes up, fantastic. Can you tell me? Okay, we got 4. Okay, so this book it was a #1 bestseller. Still is. It's called Mind Power into the 21st Century. Techniques to Harness the Outstanding Power of Thought by John Kehoe. Hey, Tink. It's good to see you. So technique to harness the outstanding powers of thought. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because if your monkey mind's slaying you every morning and every night and all day long, you're not going to manifest shit. And there's a skill set to manifesting. That's why some people actually don't think it works. It doesn't work for them not because it doesn't work for them, but there's 2 components to manifesting that most people don't know how to do. Please share the live so we can get more people. Because the more people are abundant, and the more the House of Cards, the P. Diddy's, and the Clive Davises, and the 1%, and the Vanguard, and the BlackRock can actually collapse. Okay, I'm not joking. A lot of what I'm reading, isn't for you guys to have $100 million to hoard it. I'm reading this book to you guys so that we can all be abundant, and we can escort the new earth 5D dimensional realities into our reality for ourselves, for the ones we love, for the future generations. That's actually why I'm reading this this book. It's not for kumbaya, I want you to win the fucking lotto. Nothing to do with that. But let me explain to you the 2 components that most people miss. I'm going to give you an example, a very simple example. Thank you, Beck, for sharing the live. I really appreciate it. If you all could share the live and collectively help the collective. If you want us all to win, if you want 5D, New Earth, please share the live. Come on, guys. I mean, there's enough for everyone. So let me explain one component that's really present tense only. But here's the mistake. Even people who know that you say present tense, I am no longer broke. Not good. No bueno. Why? Because you just said broke. So for example, and I'll break it down for you. So when you say, I'm no longer broke, the universe and your monkey mind hears broke. It's fucked up, isn't it? You got the present tense aspect of it. You did it perfectly. I am no longer present tense. You're better off saying, I am abundant. Every day I'm more and more abundant. I'm so grateful for the abundance. It just flows and flows in all magic. I am so grateful for this abundance. I'm just blown away by this abundance. I just can't. I'm so grateful for that. Do you hear the emotions? So you combine present tense with emotions. The emotions can't be an emotion of despair. You can't say, I'm just, like scared that what you're saying is never going to happen. You've got to be bold, assertive, grateful, excited, passionate, because the holographic universe is fed by our emotions. And the fucked up thing is, if you're in fear, so if you're saying an affirmation like, I'm not going to get into a car accident, I'm so grateful, but you're afraid, you're feeling anxiety, you're probably going to have a fender bender. It'll probably be a small thing like in a parking lot, but the point is, there you are. And so, again, your emotions have to match your words. You can't just say the words and repeat them biting your nails. You can't have a white knuckle grip on the steering wheel of your of the trajectory of your abundance manifestation. If any of these things are present, you're not going to win. And then you'll say, "Fuck this. This shit doesn't fucking work." No, no, no. It's that you did not know how to put the energies, the wording, present tense together, all in a perfect storm, like all in a planetary alignment of words, emotions, and literally reprogramming your monkey mind to shut the hell up, sit in the back of, the room, and let your soul take full control so that it can connect with the universe, right? And actually plug into the Akashic records, to be blunt. Actually, I'm going to break it down for you even further. Plug it into the Akashic records, because here's the thing. What you desire, okay, was seeded into your soul before you took on this body. So what you desire, let's say you desire to be a ballerina or an architect or whatever, and you're like, it's too late, I'm 45, this is never going to work. No. The desire was seeded into you before you were born. So in the Akashic records, there are multiple roads, right? Multiple crossroad moments. Kind of like when you put your route on a GPS on your phone, right? And it gives you 3 different roads. One that's with tolls, one that's avoids freeways, shit like that, right? Okay, so similarly, the Akashic records will know that one of the paths that you can choose, because you have free will. That's the bitch about free will. Because free will can be self-sabotaging. But let's say you're in a really beautiful course of actually aiding and aligning with your abundance. So suddenly, when you're plugging into that particular crossroad that says, yes, you will be an architect, or yes, you will gain massive abundance, and in all ways, like you don't align yourself with the lotto. Don't do that. That's a limitation, because it might not be your fate to win the lotto, but it could be your fate to win something like to gain like an inheritance of $7 million or $500,000, right? That could be part of the Akashic record agreement that you made before you were born. But the thing about free will and its ability to self-sabotage you is that the other path could be where literally you win nothing, you never get out of the hamster wheel, and then you drop your body, you meet your guide, and your guide goes, what the fuck happened? We talked about this. We talked about this. You said you wanted to be an architect, yes, and you said you wanted to do it in your 40s, not in your 20s. We agreed on this. What happened? Well, I thought I was too old, and I just didn't think it. I thought it was too late. But that's crazy, right? And so that's the shit that can happen. So I need you to really, really embrace that whatever you desires you. In other words, you were born to do this, or else you wouldn't. Like, I don't want to be a ballerina, and I certainly don't fucking want to be an architect. Not at all. Do I love architecture? Yes. Do I love ballet? Yes. But do I want to be either of these? No. My desires are not your desires. Thank God. Because my desires are more in alignment for something else, for me, for my benefit, and for you collectively, your benefit. Just like you being an amazing, like a reincarnation of Frank Lloyd Wright, a great architect, is a benefit to us. In understanding how space and the energy, like the feng shui, if you want, to or sacred space, are really important to the human evolution, believe it or not. It is. So with that said, I just want you to really embrace, and here's a problem that many have, and this is another problem manifesting, and then we'll go into reading this. I want to read your comments if there's any here. The other thing that I found that's really kind of messed up is that many of you under 37 or around the age of any of you under 40 or 45, you guys have no fucking idea what you want. You actually don't, because you were so busy going to college or high school, and then you got this job and that job, and your parents, well-meaning, whatever, kind of enforced in you that whatever you were dreaming to be wasn't realistic, okay? And so along the way, you buried that happiness in you, that little joy that you had. You were so excited about this incarnation, and you had all these desires to explore it in this physical body, and it was beaten out of you through words of discouragement, you know? And so here you are going deer in the headlights, like, I don't know what I want to do. So the first thing I would recommend is for you to take a column, get a big sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, and then go ahead and write on one column, the column to your left, what you don't want. And then the column to your right, based on the 20 things you don't fucking want. I don't care if it's as simple as, I hate doing laundry every week, that makes me sick. Or I hate this job. Or I'm not happy where I live. I don't like this apartment, this house, this city, this town, whatever, okay? Write it down. And then based on what you don't like, you should be able to excavate what you do want, what you really, really desire. Any questions or comments on that? Is that helping a little bit? Any questions or comments? Okay. So the reason why we're reading this book is because, and this is a book you should all buy, okay? It's called, again, Mind Power into the 21st Century. And because it's going to help you understand the actual quantum mechanics of manifesting what you want. The things that will fuck you up in manifesting is someone you love that dies, massive depression, and those two things alone are big enough, okay? And loss of somebody you love in various ways, okay? From divorce to death to desertion, whatever, okay? So that's going to fuck you up big time. But if you're in a situation where you're used to working on your chakras, you're manifesting, you're meditating, you're doing your daily spiritual practice, when the shit hits the fan, because it does, because we're having a human experience. Tony, what is the website you told us about to get secondhand books? Thrift Books or eBay. Thrift Books or eBay. Because sometimes you can get these books for way cheaper than anywhere, and sometimes it's literally like $4 free shipping. You can't beat that kind of money, right? And it's actually worth it for you to just buy the damn book, then go to the library and take it out for 3 weeks, and pay overdraft fees. Late fees, and the gas just going to the library. So just get the damn books. Okay, hopefully. So again, I would recommend Thrift Books, because you're actually giving back to communities and little businesses and this and that, or eBay with the same idea. You're giving it back to little businesses. And you really, honestly, I don't want us to keep giving to fucking Amazon if we can. Okay, I think we have enough billionaires. Okay, don't you think? All right, any questions or comments before I start reading from Mind Power? And thank you, Angie, for being here. Any questions or comments? Is this a tarot card? Beautiful picture. No, it's an AI image that I created through AI. I did a whole series of shamans and with flowers. And so this is if you look, he's blowing beautiful tobacco smoke, and he's manifesting. He's a rainmaker. He's a wind creator. He is a crop abundant creator. And isn't it beautiful? My best friend's death truly threw me off course. Of course it did. My God, of course. When you lose someone you love, okay, whether it's immediate, right? It's a car accident. It's a self-annihilation. It's somebody taking themselves out because they can't do this anymore. It's long-term disease. And they're going to go, but then they go and you're like, so you're clashing with the ideas of relief because they're no longer suffering, and you miss the hell out of them. You miss the sound of their voice. You miss, it will mess up your root chakra, your heart chakra. It will plug you up. But if you do the kind of spiritual practice, okay, with, if you do the spiritual practice on the daily and you start with a very small, I don't want you to pressure yourselves, okay? I would much rather you guys did, oh my God, 23, there comes my twin. I would much rather you guys did 5 minutes a day of meditation for the rest of the year. 7 days a week. I don't care when, morning, noon, or night. I don't care. 5 minutes a day. Why 5 minutes? I'm going to repeat myself for those of you who have, who have followed me. Because Dr. Joe Dispenza, oh my God, I'm going to go on a tangent for a minute, so just bear with me. And then we'll start reading that, and then we'll do oracle readings to see what Spirit wants for you guys, what kind of messages it wants you to understand about your journey. But 5 minutes a day, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he works with neurologists all over the world. As you know, they put prongs, this, that, and all kinds of shit on the brain while they're mapping the brain while it's under meditations, right? And they've done it with a huge amount of different people from different cultures, backgrounds, countries. You get the drift. And so they've come up with the number 2 minutes absolutely changes the whole, your body, your breathing, your nervous system. The whole system starts chilling out and recalibrating at 2 minutes. And so me being me, I figure 5 minutes is something that gives you enough time to do pranayama, to do working on your chakras, and the bell will ring. You'll go, holy shit, it's done already? And if you're really feeling good, add another 10 minutes. Not joking, okay? And once you do that, on the daily, you will be in the mind frame to keep yourself, what's the word I want to say, floating when the shit hits the fan. And you will continue meditating. You don't stop meditating because a friend passed. You don't stop meditating and working on your chakras because you lost your job. You better dig in. You better dig in and lean into it, okay? All right. So yes, I did make that, Tracy. Thank you. Yes. Well, through AI. Just okay. So are you ready? Are you ready for Friday? Let's read. Okay. So it's chapter 10. For those of you who meditation has been so helpful, grounding for me, everyone should practice it. Her passing was my catalyst to my awakening. You know what? I'm not shocked. I've heard people say, cancer saved my life. Believe it or not, cancer changed my life. And someone's passing sometimes is the very thing we need to wake the hell up. It shakes us up. So I'm not shocked. Okay, thank you for the gift. I really thank you. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and start reading. It's chapter 10, From Mind Power into the 21st Century, Techniques to Harness the Outstanding Powers of Thought, John Kehoe. Let's begin. Chapter 10. For the first part and second part, go on my YouTube channel, okay, to catch up. Okay, 10. Reality. Man has his future within him, dynamically alive at this present moment. Abraham Maslow. What is happening right now in your life is not happening to you as a result of chance. Your past consciousness has helped to create it. Your now, quote unquote, your now has its causes and roots in the past. Consider the following analogy. When you look up into the sky and see the stars, what you're actually seeing is the past, because some of those stars may no longer exist. This is possible because stars are hundreds and thousands of light years away, meaning that it takes their light traveling at 186 miles per second, hundreds or thousands of years to reach the Earth. Thus, the light we see from a star 100 light years away is actually light it emanated hundreds of years ago. Did you get that? What does that mean for you? It means the shit you went through in past lives is still programming you today. We're using the analogy of stars, right? Okay, well, you're a star. You're a star seed. So the past lives you had is still influencing your current incarnation today. Okay? That's why doing the work of, say, excavating past lives through hypnotherapy, soul retrieval guided meditation and simply asking your soul, what do you want me to know? Show me some past lives. Or before you go to sleep, and right before, tell your soul, listen, I really need to remember my dreams. Show me some past lives that could heal me now. Things like this, ask and you shall receive. I'm not joking. I mean, quite literally. All right. That particular star could have exploded and disintegrated 25 years ago, but we still see its light and will continue to see its light for another 75 years, even though the star itself has long ceased to exist. Keep this analogy in mind when using mind power techniques to change your reality. For when you begin to change your thoughts, your new reality will not immediately follow. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Let me say it again, because this is important. When using mind power techniques to change your reality, for when you begin to change your thoughts, your new reality will not immediately follow. Why is that? Well, it's interesting because people think this is going to just take 2 days and then they get pissed off, or a month. When you plant tomato seeds or zucchini seeds, the gardener would never get pissed off saying, well, it's been a week now, there's nothing here. The gardener would know it would take a gestation of, say, 86 days. Similarly, what you need to understand is the fuckery that's been your reality for so long, the pain, the despair, the depression, the lack of self-worth, the trying to figure out why you're here in the first place, and your mission or whatever has done a number on you, okay? And so that is first needs to be cleared out of you. It's like junk. It needs to be cleared out of you. And then what will flow in is new downloads, new upgrades and things like that. And then you'll start seeing magic happen. And I trust me, magic. It could take, maybe you want to buy a house. It could take a year. It could take a year. Is that wrong? Maybe the house that you're supposed to have is the perfect house. And before those people are ready and make the decision to sell it, will take a year. It's not just what you want. It's also what happens with other people's karma and what they want, what they need before it can be released to you. Does that make sense? So you're not failing. When your twin is separated from you and you're like, well, I can't wait 2 years. Who's asking you to wait? No one. Keep doing your thing. When divine timing is in perfect timing, the twin will come back. The house will be revealed. Your real estate agent will yell, oh my God, I found it. I found your house. Sounds like it's exactly what you've been looking for. They're ready to sell. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's very important you're patient. So there will always be a certain time lag during which you will be in a position of developing a new consciousness, but still stuck with your old reality. This waiting for it to happen period is critical because how you react during this waiting period will either quicken or hinder the new reality you are attempting to create. You may doubt things are changing. You may feel discouraged and wonder if you're wasting your time. Your mind will try to fool you by telling you that nothing will happen, that this won't work. This is why we keep talking to you about controlling your monkey mind. This is why we keep telling you to use a mantra, Aham Prema, Om Namah Shivaya, right? Like find a Sanskrit mantra. Because Sanskrit, again, I'm repeating myself, is a mathematical language, is an exact language. There's a vibration in Sanskrit that no other language has. French doesn't have it. Italian, Russian, Chinese, none of them have it. But Sanskrit, for whatever mysterious reason, does. So when I say to you, say Aham Prema, and I translate to I am divine love, please use the Sanskrit term Aham Prema so that you can control your monkey mind. Your mind will try to fool you by telling you that nothing will happen, that this won't work. Do you get me? These thoughts are natural. They happen to us all. Do not pay them any heed. Just continue with your exercises, being patient and diligent in your efforts. It helps to remember that reality is a process, a continuous happening, and not something fixed and rigid. That's why we can manifest, because we have multiple crossroads in these incarnations. We have free will. And what you do with that sword is double-edged. You choose the light or you choose to self-deprecate, put yourself down, and decide that you're not ready because of fear. Everything in existence is continually in the process of becoming something else. Your circumstances, too, are forever changing and becoming something else. So how could your new thoughts, if persisted in, do anything but bring you a new reality? Think about it. Yeah, if you're allowing your monkey mind to keep bringing you on the hamster wheel of despair, your old habits, right now, what you're trying to do, you're not trying, you're working on the following. You are trying to brainwash your brain from the brainwashing of the rhetoric and bullshit you've been taught from the time you open your eyes out of your mother's womb. From that moment where they slapped you in the butt. What a shock. What a fucking shock to do to any baby. Okay? Who came up with that one? All right? So do you understand what I'm saying? So right off the bat, what's the message to a brand new baby that gets slapped in the ass? They're still doing that shit, by the way. Okay? I think they should be done only when the baby's blue, in my opinion. Okay? It should be immediately given to its mom to rub and to breathe on, and the baby will breathe. I mean, come on. But what is the message the infant, you, got? That the world is not safe, that it's violent, that it's painful. I mean, right? So right there, boom, the first seed of negativity has been put into your brain, your nervous system. Does that make sense? So the first part of this journey of learning how to manifest and control your monkey mind is to undo all the damage that's been done since day one, your first breath. I'm not joking. Unless you were lucky to be born at home. Everything in existence is continually a process of becoming something else. Your circumstances, too, are forever changing and becoming something else. So how could your new thoughts, if persisted in, do anything but bring you a new reality? Relax and enjoy your exercises, ignoring any negative thoughts. You can't ignore negative thoughts. This is where I disagree with him. It's not easy to ignore. So I'm going to give you a couple tips. One is the mantras that I'm talking about. The other one is pranayama, which is breath work. When you do breath work, your mind empties out. Because you're breathing, you're concentrating on your breathing, you're doing various things with your nostrils, your breath, you're holding the breath for 5 seconds, things of that nature. So that's going to empty your mind from like these incredibly negative thoughts or looping thoughts, right? And so that's what you need to do. In time, your life will change naturally and effortlessly. You don't have to force it. You don't have to force it. Just be patient with yourself as you go on this journey of becoming a transformed self. Keep these points in mind. Be conscious of what you are thinking. You are creating your future experiences with your now thoughts. Change your reactions to any undesirable conditions in your life. If you are struggling in your career, without a relationship, sick, unemployed, or nothing seems to be working for you, the first thing you must do is accept the situation. For example, I'm going to give you an example. You just got fired. Say thank you. Say thank you because the universe knew that you were never going to give up that toxic job, or that this job was a dead-end street. And you knew it, but you thought, well, one more paycheck. Okay, one more paycheck. And it's been 2 years and you're still saying one more paycheck before you leave. So finally, the universe will do you a favor and pull the plug. Okay, that's what happens. Because you weren't being proactive and going, I can't do this anymore. This is not good for me. Okay, so don't try to pretend it isn't happening. It is. Don't waste time feeling sorry for yourself or fighting it. Work through it with mind power. Establish a daily inner creating period for yourself, free from everyday demands and distractions. It is this inner creating period that will give you its power. I once called a company to get some important information which I need for my business. The woman I spoke to asked me to call back in a half hour explaining, I'm sorry, we can't get into our computers right now. It's running a program. I put down the receiver and thought to myself, that's exactly how we practice mind power. When we run a mental program, we close off our mind to all other outer distractions and run our program over and over again in our mind. So that means that you're going to have to literally, right? You're going to have to literally reprogram your mind. I call it brainwashing because you've been brainwashed. So wash your brain all over again. And then now download it with new upgrades, new light codes, new thought forms, things of that nature. Change is a cumulative process. Imagine you have an eyedropper full of red dye, and every day you squeezed one drop of dye into a large bowl of water. At first you would see no effect because the dye would quickly dissipate and be absorbed. If, however, you continue to add a drop every day, the water would gradually turn from clear to pale pink to deep rose and finally to brilliant red. In creating a new reality for yourself, your eyedropper is that daily creating period during which you detach yourself from your worries, your difficulties, and your now reality. This period can be anything from 5 minutes to 30 minutes, so long as you observe it every day. By regularly and diligently applying the techniques you have learned, an ever-increasing effect is seen. Those who practice half-heartedly soon fall by the wayside, but nothing is beyond the reach of those who have a vision, understanding, and commitment. Please don't come up with and say, well, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Well, then I guess you're going to stay in your looping. If somebody was an ER that you loved, you drop suddenly all your duties would be by the wayside. You'd be running to your car to drive to the hospital to be with them. My friends, this is your ER. So you need to carve 5 to 10 minutes a day. This is not much. And again, I said 5 minutes for the meditation. Throw in another 3 to 4 minutes on the visualization. You're good to go. Now, let me give you a tip. You can do your visualization in the shower. Why? Well, because water is a conduit. If you guys have studied Dr. Emoto's water study, water actually reflects your emotion. So if you're in high spirits, imagining you living in a villa in Greece or Portugal, and you're, I don't know, you're doing all kinds of content, you're making money left and right, you're with your beloved, life is good, life is easy. You're free to do what you want when you want. And you visualize this in the shower. So your little shitty shower in your little studio apartment, I'm giving you an example, right? Or whatever, or your house. Suddenly you visualize yourself being in Greece or being in a beautiful 5-star hotel or in your new home. And that shower is incredible and you feel it. You feel, and you're filled with gratitude. And so that is something you could do in the shower every single day. So you'd have 5 minutes of meditations, right? Sitting cross-legged on a chair, working on your chakras, getting your nervous system in check. And then boom, you're in the shower visualizing for like, I don't know, however long your shower takes, right? So you're like nailing it every day because you're showing up. And it's interesting too, because you understand that when you brush your teeth every day, you're preventing cavities, right? You're understanding that in the long run, a root canal is much more expensive than you just brushing your teeth every day, making sure you have toothpaste. Correct, right? Simple, stupid shit like that is easy to absorb. But this are new habits that are somewhat esoteric, but yet once they become part of you, like brushing your teeth, you will not feel right. You know how you don't feel good unless you brush your teeth? Well, guess what? You won't feel good until you get this done every day. That's what we want for you, okay? All right. Will you dare to believe in your vision as being stronger and more potent in your present circumstances? Did you hear that? Will you dare to believe in your vision as being stronger and more potent in your present circumstances? Are you willing to infuse yourself daily without fail with thoughts of your desired reality? Will you persevere trusting in your daily practice and refusing to believe otherwise, even in the face of seemingly unchanged or contradictory conditions? If you can, then you shall have whatever you desire. You will step forward boldly into the world, and the world will give you whatever you ask of it. Wow. Thank you for sharing the live. Definitely, if you could share the live with other people. Any questions or comments? And what do you guys like blocked in? Like this would be a good time to. Why so little time? Oh, I explained it already. Because what I notice about people is that I did a 60-minute meditation this week. This week? Wait, hang on. How often do you meditate? Well, I haven't meditated in like weeks, and I did a 60-minute. I'm not impressed, my friends. I'm not impressed. I'm impressed by somebody who comes to me and says, all I can do is 5 minutes, but you know what? I haven't missed a day in 6 months. Bravo. Bravo. It's akin to going to the gym 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week, 7 days a week even. Your body's going to look completely different. It's impossible. I don't care if you're still eating crazy. I don't care if you're thick. If you go to the gym and lift weights and do whatever the hell and boxing for 6 months and you're doing 20 minutes without sweating like a pig, let me tell you something. Your body will transform. You will lose inches even though the scale won't change because you're eating the same calories. It's common sense. Transformation is transformation. And transformation comes from action, reaction. It comes from showing up every day. So when people say, I did a 90-minute meditation. Yeah, kumbaya, fabulous. But now what? When was the last time? Well, it's been 3 months. 3 months? Yeah, you're not doing anything. It's like me going to the gym for an hour and then I won't go back for 2 months. It doesn't make sense. You're wasting your time. Okay? You actually are. Thank you. Okay? Any questions on that? Does that make sense to you? On that question? Any questions or comments? Okay. So we're going to go into chapter 11, and it's called Concentration and contemplation. And yes, Tracy, consistency. That's the key. So, to fully understand a grand and beautiful thought requires perhaps as much time as to conceive it. To fully understand a grand and beautiful thought requires perhaps as much time as to conceive it. Jean Joubert. Most people have an erroneous idea of what concentration is. They associate it with hard work and sometimes painful school memories, convincing themselves in the process that concentrating is difficult. If, however, you've ever lost yourself in the enjoyment of a movie or concert, you found that concentrating actually comes quite naturally when you are absorbed in something that you enjoy. It's kind of like hyper focus, right? Concentration requires no superhuman effort, but it does require practice. It is a skill that is learned and developed, and like most skills, the more you use it, the easier it becomes. In fact, as you develop your power of concentration, not only will you find it progressively easier to direct your thoughts towards whatever purpose you've chosen, you will also find your own mental clarity and powers of insight greatly enhanced. The ability to concentrate and focus your mind on one idea, thought, or image is a prerequisite for using mind power. Unfortunately, if we have never trained our mind, we probably find that it is very unruly and active and moving from thought to thought with very little attentiveness. No one's asking you to find silence in your meditation because no one is achieving. High masters of meditation, high yoginis of these people have it. Okay, they've been doing it since they were 3 years old, meditating, and of course they've nailed it, they've mastered it. But no one in the 99% class of the muggles, of people that work their asses off every day, has mastered controlling the monkey mind. That's the problem. That's why we're the 99%. That's why we're in the situations we're in. That's why we have the narcissistic leaders that we have. Okay, for the most part, I'm seeing leaders coming out of different parts, and I'm like, holy shit, a new leadership is forming. But for the most part, let's be honest, and it's because you've got to realize that the monkey mind, the distractions, this idea that you can't focus for more than 3-4 minutes. You've also been trained on, no offense, social media. I love social media. Don't get me wrong. This is why we're having this discussion. For all I know, you're in Japan, you're in Paris, you're in London, you're in different states of America. And we couldn't do, but the thing is, it's trained your mind to do 2 minutes at a time. You never watch a full video, right? So, I mean, don't feel bad. Welcome to the club. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reignite the brain. We're trying to look at different junk parts of your brain that's never been activated in any incarnation, and we're trying to activate it. That's one of the things about being a psychic. Those are portals that are like the third eye is activated, and some of us who are psychics, right? I mean, for example, in my situation, I never had any parents telling me that I was delulu and that I was making shit up. I was very much protected by that kind of bullshit. I had good parents when it comes to that. And so that muscle was developed. Do you understand? But some of you have a sluggish third eye, and you need to, so this is all of these things are going to help you gain your power, right? All right. The ability to concentrate and focus your mind on one idea, thought, or image is a prerequisite for using mind power. Unfortunately, if we have never trained our mind, we will probably find that it is very unruly and active, moving from thought to thought with very little attentiveness. This is one of the first things we notice as we begin to train our mind. Our mind is more restless than we realize. There is effort and willpower needed to direct it, and directed is exactly what we must learn to do. Directed to think the thought we choose and reject the thoughts we wish to diminish. The way you do that is chant Om Namah Shivaya again and again until your your monkey mind is shut down, and then you go back into your work. Okay, for so long as we yield to every single thought within our mind, letting each one take us along for a ride in whatever direction it goes, we remain caught within our fantasies, our worries, our tendencies towards avoidance. Each and every thought holds us in its power. It's not the soul that makes a person unaliven themselves. It's the monkey mind. That's how powerful the monkey mind is when left unchecked. That's how negative the monkey mind can take a person if left untrained to be a servant to the soul. This is why I'm so adamant in you understanding there's nothing to be ashamed. Oh my God, I'm sitting in meditation. My mind's going crazy. Yes, that's right. Now you know the shit show that's in your head when you're like doing the dishes and you're unaware of how your mind is just fucking going, 1,000 miles an hour in every direction. Yeah, don't be ashamed. Wonderful. Yeah, look at it. Watch it. Holy fuck. What the hell? Is that how I think? Is that how I talk to myself? It's horrifying. Okay? Learning to concentrate is regaining control, steadying the mind through various concentration technique disciplines strengthens the mind. And this in turn allows us to exercise discretion with regards to the thoughts we are thinking. Wow. Developing your concentration is like developing and strengthening a muscle. If, for example, you haven't been to the gym for a while, you'll find your first workout torturous, difficult, unpleasant. But if you continue working out every day or every second day following a regular routine, you will soon find it enjoyable and pleasant. Not only that, but you will feel good and see a noticeable change in your stamina and physical appearance. What did I just say? It's the same with working out in the mental gym of your mind. Your mind is not used to disciplined thinking. So your first few attempts at trying to concentrate will be met with resistance and obviously will not be nearly as productive as after you've been mentally working out for a while. This is important to remember. Don't be discouraged by what happens your first few times. Be patient with yourself and give yourself time to develop these new skills. It's steady and regular practices that ensure the best results. And the results will come, I assure you. Well, no kidding. Of course he's assuring you. But he's not selling you snake oil. He's basically saying action, reaction. It's like saying, well, how will I get to my car? I don't know, put one foot in step of the other, my friend, and you'll get to your car unless something horrible has happened to your body. If you're healthy and capable, if you get out of your seat and walk to the car and, get in it and turn the ignition, the car will move. In other words, it's common sense. There's nothing magical about this. But the result of a disciplined mind creates magical opportunities for you. That's what's interesting. Okay, contemplation. The technique of contemplation is the single best way I know of for developing your powers of concentration. And not only will it sharpen and strengthen your mind, but it will also give you greater insight into whatever it is you are exploring. The practice of contemplation forms an integral part of our training. With contemplation, we break through the surface ideas, truth, laws, whatever it is we are contemplating to explore their deeper meaning and implications. This is how all great artists, inventors, mystics, and visionaries throughout the ages have received their insights. Without contemplation, it is almost impossible to pierce below the mystery of things, and that is why most people have only surface understanding of their reality. Did you hear that? Wow. How often do we fool ourselves into believing that because we can quote facts or make intelligent arguments about a subject, we know everything there is to know about it? We may know something about it, but that something may be very little piece of the whole picture, and certainly it doesn't mean we know it all. Let me give you an example. Consider the difference between a tomato picked while still small, hard, and green, and one allowed to sun ripen to a sweet, juicy fullness. You could say you know what a tomato tastes like after having eaten a green one, and technically you would be right. You could argue that tomatoes are bitter and hard, as that is your experience with tomatoes. But now you sample the luscious, vine-ripened one, and you immediately see how much you missed. Your awareness of the possibilities of tomato has just broadened immensely. You have now tasted both stages, and now you know the difference. The true potential of a green tomato has been revealed to you. Likewise, you could say after reading this book, once that you are now understanding how mind power works, and it is true, you have received the basic information. But how different is it for an individual to not only read the book, but to practice it regularly? The technique suggested. This person will have a far greater capacity to know and understand the powers of the mind than someone with a mere intellectual or factual knowledge. Likewise, a person who contemplates any subject for a period of time will have a far deeper understanding than one who does not. How to practice contemplation. Contemplation is using your mind like a searchlight to seek out new information. It is to take up one idea, thought, law, or truth and probe it deeply. It is disciplining your mind to remain focused on whatever it is you're contemplating as you rearrange its contents, thinking them over, establishing new relations, discovering hidden likenesses, and previously unthought of connections. You may contemplate anything that inspires you or something that you wish to understand more clearly. For example, let's say you wish to contemplate the idea that thoughts are real forces. Using a watch or clock to time yourself, I suggest 5 minutes minimum and 10 minutes maximum per contemplating exercise. Begin to focus on thoughts are real forces. Lose yourself in the idea, thinking deeply about it. Ask yourself questions such as, what does that mean? What are the implications? How does it affect me? Can I make this work for me? Maintain your contemplation for the allotted time. Don't allow your mind to wriggle out of the experience. Let me give you some advice. Quite often, when you first start your meditation practice or the exercise of contemplation he's describing, your monkey mind is going to tear you up. It's going to feel like an exorcism. It's going to feel like an arm wrestling competition between your soul and your ego, the monkey mind. And you need to sit there and fight it by just sitting there and refusing to let your monkey mind get you up off your chair or off the floor to do something else because it just wants anything else but to transform. See, the monkey mind doesn't want to transform. It's afraid of anything new. It's afraid of losing power over you. It's almost, if you let it go for years and years, it's almost a parasitical energy because it no longer helps you accomplish your goals. It actually prevents you from accomplishing them, quite truly. It stops you from finishing your novel. It stops you from finishing a painting or a project or a business plan or writing a grant or building a house or buying a house or whatever. You're constantly quitting on shit. You don't finish what you start. That's the monkey mind. That's how aggressive it can be. During your contemplation, if your mind wanders, and it will wander, gently but firmly bring it back to the subject of your reflection. Now, I would say breathing exercises. I would say chanting exercises, and go all the way back to where your last thread, your last thought thread was at. In the beginning stage of the practicing contemplation, your mind will probably drift off 10 or 20 times in a 5-minute period. Totally irrelevant thoughts will come to your mind in the middle of your practice. Memories of recent events, thoughts of tasks waiting to be done, desires, worries, and fantasies will enter uninvited and try to hold the field of your intention. Do not let this distract you from your exercise. As soon as you become aware of the intrusion, dismiss it and begin again at the point where you left off. Your mind is not accustomed to being disciplined and directed in this way. It would rather meander freely and focus on what it chooses, whatever it chooses. Your mind will become bored and feel there is nothing more to think about. It will become restless, ignore all these feelings, and simply bring your mind back again and again to your central theme, pressing on with this inner inquiry for the prescribed time. This is true mental gymnastics and excellent training. You are now directing and controlling your mind rather than the other way around. As you continue to do this exercise over a number of days and weeks, 2 things will happen. First of all, by disciplining and exercising your mind in this way, you are developing your powers of concentration. This will make you more alert and creative. And secondly, your limited intellectual understanding of what it is you're contemplating will deepen. You will find that during these exercises, you will sometimes experience a sense of excitement and enlightenment as the truth comes alive within you. It is a good idea to keep pen and paper by you when contemplating, so you can write down any new insights as they come to you. You will find yourself experiencing an emotional level of acceptance of what you're contemplating, and this is far more gratifying and powerful than any simple intellectual understanding. You will penetrate deep into the heart of the subject. The latent power of the mind is developed by exercise. The ability to think correctly and powerfully comes with practice. Begin today to strengthen your powers of concentration by practicing contemplation. You may choose to contemplate the notion that you possess a powerful subconscious mind, or that thoughts influence reality, or any other of the 100 of life-changing principles contained in this book. But whatever you choose to contemplate, the rewards awaiting your efforts are myriad. Wow. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? I want to train my mind. Well, do it. Do it. Are you ready for chapter 12? Let me know if you're ready for chapter 12. Are you ready for chapter 12? Because this is beliefs and imprinting. The chapter is called Belief and Imprinting. Ready for that? Show of hands, please, or else we can go on to something else. We can stop here and go on to something else. You're ready for more? Okay. So, beliefs and imprinting. So here's the quote. All truly wise thoughts have been thought already thousands of times. But to make them truly ours, we must think them over again honestly till they take root in our own personal experience. Goth. There is no area of your life about which we don't have a set of beliefs and assumptions, some of which we accepted way back in early childhood and have defended ever since. Once acquired, we rarely question these beliefs. We naturally assume they are all true. Why else would we have them? If we think it's hard to make money, it's because it is hard to make money. If we think we feel worthless, it's because we are worthless. If we think there's no opportunities for us, it's because there are no opportunities. We will doubt and scrutinize almost all aspects of ourselves in our life, but our beliefs are always the last to be challenged. What you believe is what you get. Most of us have unwittingly used our beliefs against ourselves many times. If you look at any of your problem areas, you'll probably find that they're rooted in faulty and limited beliefs. So if you're having problems with your relationship, examine your beliefs about relationships. All your beliefs, likewise, if you're having problems with health, look at your beliefs about health. If you are having financial problems, look closely at your belief about money. Yeah, money is the root of all evil. That's a fucked up belief. Many of your beliefs actually was entrenched by your mother, your father, okay? Or lack thereof, of their presence, or caretakers. And you were told things about yourself that were not true, unfair about you. Like that you were lazy, or you never finished everything, or you right? Shit like that. Maybe you went to college and you took all different kinds of courses, changing your major again and again. And you were put down for it instead of told the truth, which is, damn, you're curious. You want to try everything. Like you're not just settling to be a nurse. You want to know about philosophy, European history, anthropology, psychology. You don't put a kid like that down. You're like, fuck, kid. Great. Well, what the hell? Just stay in school until you're 26. I don't give a shit. Figure out what you want. Does that make sense? So it's really important that you kind of break down where you were told that X, Y, and Z about you, which became your truth and your reality. And I bet you how much most of it isn't even yours. All right. After one of my lectures, a soft-spoken man in his mid-30s confided to me that he had difficulties in making money. He always had just enough to support himself and his family, but never enough to save and get ahead. I'll never have enough money, he shrugged. It's impossible to get ahead. These two negative beliefs, I'll never have enough money and it's impossible to get ahead, lodged deep into his subconscious mind and were continuously at work coloring this man's reality. I suggested to him that these might not be the only limiting beliefs he held about money. For in my experiences, most limiting beliefs drag a host of undesirable relatives along with them. I asked him to write down all his beliefs about money and success. The result list was quite revealing. It included such commonly held beliefs as, if I accept money from someone, then they will go without. There are no good opportunities left to make money. Money is hard to make. Successful people are selfish, and I don't want to be selfish. I would have to give up too much to become successful. Quite a self-limiting and self-defeating list. No wonder this man couldn't get ahead financially. He was at war with his own subconscious, battling a litany of beliefs which kept telling him he would have to become selfish, take from others, and give up too much in order to make money. In another of my lectures, a woman who had suffered constant poor health found, upon examining her beliefs, that she was telling herself, everyone gets sick. There is so much disease around. I catch everything. My body is fragile, and disease is much more powerful than health. Luckily, she was able to eventually turn her health around by adopting new life-strengthening beliefs. I'm going to turn you on to two books you need to buy. One is, they're both from the same author. One is called Super Brain, These two books were my twin's favorite books. Some of his most famous. He read that book, these two books again and again. So one is called Super Brain, Rudy Tanzi and Deepak Chopra. And the second book by the same authors is Super Genes. Super Genes by Rudy Tanzi and Deepak Chopra. Okay? All right. Okay, so we got that. The content of your subconscious mind are of immense concern to you. If your subconscious mind has picked up worry, negativity, or limiting suggestions, it will accept them as true and will work with that belief day and night, ultimately bringing about the corresponding situation. If it believes in poverty, failure, and trouble, then your subconscious will endeavor in 1,000 different ways to manifest those realities. What is contained in your subconscious mind is the experiences you encounter in your life are directly connected to one another. Let me tell you another problem that most people have. Most people are afraid of failure. Most people are afraid of failure. The smaller percentage are afraid of success. Who are you? Which one are you? Answer in the chat. I want this to be interactive. Are you afraid of success or are you afraid of failure? Go ahead and type it in. Tell me what you're afraid of. Success or failure? This is like a class. Let's get it going. Let's type it in. All right? Failure or success? And be honest with yourself. Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of looking like a fool? Failure. Good. Success. Failure. Failure. Terrifying. Yeah, right. Okay. Now you have one person saying success. And I can relate to that now. Success. Okay. Okay, we're going to break down these two. Okay, we're going to start with failure because that's more common. I was afraid of failure. My husband, who was my high-level soulmate, was afraid of success. So the people who are afraid of failure don't realize that it would take 1,000 failures to hone your skills, to become a better writer, an artist, public speaker, a business owner, an entrepreneur, a scientist, a physician, a therapist. The list goes on. It will take, in other words, some of the most brilliant lawyers have had to take the bar like 10 times, 5 times, 10 times, right? And all I'm going to say is that the failure of taking and not passing the bar isn't that you don't have the brains. It's that you are in a deer in the headlights. You're frozen. Because once you fail once, you fail again, you fail the third time, you're going to go through massive, massive anxiety. And this is all part of the monkey mind. But what's interesting about taking the test again and again is not only are you learning to think about the test and why the questions are, the answers to those questions are X, Y, and Z, is it's actually refining your ability to understand so that when you're in court, you're not going to be reaching in the middle of the night going, what the fuck was that case again? You'll remember that shit. Because you would have done it again and again. So quite often, the failing of writing your first screenplay and rewriting it or throwing the trash and writing a brand new story, a brand new screenplay, all of that is going to help you in refining your skill sets. The people who are afraid of success is usually because there's something in them that feel like, one, they're not ready, that they won't know how to, they won't know how to be, how am I going to act if I'm successful? Like if I suddenly get a singing contract for I don't know, $10 million, maybe I'm going to look like a fool. I'm not ready. And the saddest part, and there's people like that too, who feel they don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. They're perfectionists. And for them to be successful means that they have to have all their ducks in a row. The psychology of allowing yourself to be successful is pretty intense, right? So what I'm going to tell you for those of you who are afraid of failure is to say that you want to jump into the mosh pit of failure. You want to say, yeah, bring it on, man. Let's just get over it. So you want to go through all the trials and tribulations of failure so you can finally hit success. Because it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. The more you fail, you're closer and closer and closer to the winning goal. In terms of success, it's a different type of work that you have to do. And it's the work of not being a perfectionist. It's the work of allowing yourself to not be fully 100% ready and to also be deserving of that success. Does that answer the question? You really have to work on that. You cannot be afraid. Okay? But both of these components are all surrounded by fear. Right? We can agree that both of it is about fear. fear of not deserving, fear of not being ready, fear of looking like a fool, fear of having egg in your face, shit like that. It's not going to work. So you might as well, because clearly you don't want your life to continue as it is, right? You want it to be better and better and better. And the quicker and sooner you can go past these ideas of I'm afraid of success or I'm afraid of failure, in fact, you should do that as one of your contemplation exercises. Contemplate why you're afraid of success. Why are you afraid of success? And some of you, why are you afraid of failure? And for 5 to 10 minutes on the clock, with pen and paper by your side, just close your eyes and really excavate that question for yourself. Okay? All right. So please share the live if you can. All right. Let's go on to the next paragraph. Hang on for a quick second. Have you swallowed any snakes? There's an old Zen parable about a foolish peasant who was sent to visit his master's house. The master brought him into the study and offered him some soup. But just as the peasant was about to drink it, he noticed a small snake in his bowl. Not wanting to offend his master, he drank it anyway, and within a few days fell so ill he was brought back to the house. The master again took him into his study and prepared some medicine in a small bowl, which he then gave to the peasant. Just as the peasant was about to drink the medicine, he noticed another snake in the bowl. This time he pointed it out and loudly complained that this was the reason he was sick in the first place. Roaring with laughter, the master pointed to the ceiling where a large bough was hanging. It is the reflection of the bough you are seeing, he said. There are no snakes at all. The peasant looked again, and sure enough, there was no snake in his bowl, only a reflection. He left the house without taking the medicine and regained his health within the day. When we accept limitations about ourselves and our world, we have swallowed an imaginary mental snakes, and they are always real until we find out otherwise. Once your subconscious mind has accepted a belief or idea, whether true or not, it will continually feed your thoughts to support that belief. Let's say you unconsciously believe that it is hard to establish a loving relationship. I'll give you an example. All men cheat. All men cheat. So what's the point of me trying? I've been fucked over by all these men. Or all women can't be trusted. They just want money. Whatever your story is, whatever you're looping in your brain. And so guess what? That becomes your limiting thoughts. And so why would you be surprised when you only attract men who cheat? The anxiety around, or women that just want you for your money, right? The anxiety that is surrounding this becomes greater than yourself. It's a snowball effect. It becomes the fucking iceberg that you keep hitting. And what happens is all you attract is that. Not because you're evil or silly or what. It's because you've allowed your monkey mind to take a grain of sand and turn it into an iceberg of negativity and limitations. Does that make sense? Okay, this belief repeated to yourself soon becomes imprinted on the subconscious mind. Once imprinted, it will feed your mind with thoughts such as, I'll never meet someone I like. It's impossible to meet a good partner. Relationships never work, and so on. When you meet someone special, your thoughts become, he's probably not that nice. Why bother? Right? You know, are you hearing your thoughts here? Do you hear yourself in this particular paragraph? I'll never meet someone I like. It's impossible to meet a good partner. Relationships never work, and so on. So when you meet someone special, your thoughts become, he's probably not that nice. Why bother trying? It won't work. Or she'd never be interested in me. Furthermore, your mind convinced that it's hard to have a good relationship will magnify any incidents that support this belief and will ignore or dismiss incidents which indicate the opposite. Your mind will distort perceptions of reality to make it conform to our beliefs. Think you are worthless or that it's hard to make money, believe you are susceptible to poor health. Your mind will find irrefutable evidence to support those beliefs and will work overtime to manifest those beliefs. On the other hand, if you believe that you are a winner or that there's money to be made everywhere, if you believe in your own health, a vibrant health, you'll find yourself surrounded by equally strong evidence supporting those beliefs. Mind-blowing, isn't it? How we corner ourselves into corners of self-limitations. Mind-blowing. Oh, I'll never be in union with my twin. It'll never work. Oh, he's married to someone else, or he's always cheating. All men, all women change and transform. I've seen heroin addicts do a 180 and change their entire fucking life. Criminals come out of jail and become public speakers. Women on the streets, walking the streets, becoming incredible powerhouses with businesses and employing people and taking care of them and nurturing them. Transformation is one step away. It's amazing. It's true too. Choose your beliefs wisely. In almost all problem areas of your life, you are the problem and you are the solution. It may not seem that way, but can I stop here for a minute? Choose your beliefs wisely. In almost all problem areas of your life, you are the problem and you are the solution. Let's talk about homelessness for a minute, because I think there's a lot of judgment in the spiritual community that's very toxic, and I want to make sure that I disclose that before we continue. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Some people are so hurt, and the system has hurt them so much, like our war vets and women, single women who lost everything because they got sick and they couldn't work, so they lost their apartment, and they're on the streets or in shelters with their kids. One, you are the problem and you are the solution. Let me explain something to you. If our society really, really, really wanted to change homelessness, books like this would be all over homeless camps. People like you and me would be asked to go and talk to them in organized ways. Jails will be filled with books like this. Dr. Joe Dispenza, John Kehoe, and so on. Does that make sense? There would be people that would like literally be reading these books on the streets, in their tents, in jail, all over the world. It's interesting, don't you think? It's very interesting. So think about that while I read this, so that you come from a place of kindness and compassion for yourself and for others. It may not seem that way, but you are encountering your resistance, not from outside sources, but from inside yourself, from your beliefs. When new beliefs are accepted by your subconscious mind, whole new realities will open up. For example, let's say you believe that it's hard to make friends. Holding this belief now excuses you from making friends. It's not your fault. It's hard. It's only logical and understandable that you don't make friends. Your belief deludes you into believing that your lack of friends has nothing to do with you. Right? If you change your belief to say it's easy to make friends, your telephone may not suddenly start ringing off the hook with dinner invitations. In fact, you may not even make a few friends, but you will have changed your focus. Suddenly, the problem isn't out there. The problem is with you. Once you take responsibility for your reality, you can examine what you need to change in yourself, and sometimes just that change of attitude will open up numerous possibilities. As you continue to believe that it's easy to make friends, you will find plenty of evidence to support this belief, and you will make whatever changes are necessary to take advantage of this new emerging reality. So when we say friends, it might be really, really wonderful 5-minute, 10-minute conversations in a line, at a hair salon, at a barber shop. Suddenly you bump into someone, and they're helping you get something up on a high shelf at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, and they're taller than you, and you have a jovial, funny little conversation. That's making friends, even if it lasts 5 minutes and you'll never see them again. In other words, you're realizing that people are fundamentally good and they're easy to communicate with. Does that make sense? Challenge yourself to greatness. Challenge yourself to create new, more supportive beliefs, even if on the surface you don't believe them. Did you hear that? Fake it till you make it, right? Remind yourself that you can voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any thought, idea, or belief you desire, and your mind will accept it, provided it is introduced with feelings and reinforced through repetition. The mind is a creature of habit. If you allow limiting concepts to root there, you can crowd them out by constructing new and more supporting beliefs and by practicing them until the old ideas have been replaced by the new ones. So what you're doing is you're cutting synapses and rewiring new ones. So do a mental house cleaning. Change the furniture and paint the walls. It's time to toss out all those old limiting self-defeating beliefs, however cherished, and replace them with. Okay, no. Check the following. Check the following list carefully to see if you are in the habit of using even one of these sayings. I can't do it. I'll never get ahead. There are no opportunities right now. I've tried hundreds of times. It doesn't matter what I do. It's hard to get ahead. Something always goes wrong. It won't last. Life is hard. Yeah, that's a big one. Life is hard. Buckle up, Joe. Life is hard. Life isn't hard. Life is an incredible, exciting journey. Let's continue with the list. You have to work hard for everything you achieve. Did you hear that? You have to work hard for everything you achieve. Nothing comes easy. This is not the right time for me. I don't know what to do. Those are some fucked up beliefs, right? Like wow. And you've all heard them from well-meaning relatives, friends, co-workers. My God, even people who are supposed to be guiding you, right? Spiritually, religious, whatever. If any of these sounds familiar, begin immediately to imprint new, more supportive beliefs. Allow yourselves to succeed. To succeed means being willing to give up the excuses, the security, and the other benefits we have derived from failure. Millions of people are content to stay as they are and will make no attempt to change. If it ain't fixed, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yes, but Joe, this is a 1932 washing machine. Maybe we should upgrade. Hello? It's like fucking Christ. People will sit in shit because they figure if it ain't broke, don't fix it. How about this? I want to change my entire life and I don't want all this old shit around me. How's that? It's interesting, isn't it, how people think? They believe life is hopeless and difficult and have resigned themselves to this fate. Nothing will shake them from it. But what about you? And one of the things many of you will realize as you go through this journey of transformation, right, is that you will lose, quote unquote, friends and family members. Good riddance. Because if that's the chains that are around your ankles, your waist, your throat, then I think it's time to say goodbye. It was nice knowing you. Goodbye. Because my life needs to be rich and full of color. I want to have 6 incarnations in one body. In other words, 6 different experiences. Excitement, driven, excited. Oh God, I'm exhausted. Good. Okay, just you go ahead and rest. Rest for a week. Chill out. Watch movies. Do nothing. Good. Go in your hammock. Take long naps. All good. Then go back out and just duke it out. Have fun. Get excited. Jump out of bed. Explore your possibilities. Step 1. Pick an area in your life in which you are having difficulty. Finances, relationships, sex, health, business, whatever. Write it down, all your beliefs about that area. Take your time and be honest. Radically honest. Don't write what you think you should feel or what looks good. Write what you really deep down really know you should be exploring. When you have finished, examine the list and search for limiting beliefs. We are not interested in whether these beliefs are true or not, only in whether or not they are limiting. This process, if done honestly, can be quite revealing in and of itself. Step 2. Beside each limiting belief, write in your more supportive belief. For example, so I'm going to give you a limited belief and then next to it, the new belief. Limited belief. There are no ways for me to make money. It's hard to meet people. New belief. There are many undiscovered ways for me to make money. It's easy to meet people. Pretty amazing, right? Let me give you another example. It's hard to make friends. It's hard to make friends. New belief. It's easy to make friends. Old belief. I'll never get ahead. New belief. I'm bound to success. Old belief. I have no time to work on this project. New belief. There will be lots of time to work on this project. My mom told me if I didn't work my ass off like her, I was worthless. Well, time to rewire your brain because that's her story, not yours. Isn't that beautiful? It's not your story. Out of my own mouth. Right, cool, right? All right, let's continue. Using the imprinting techniques which follows, impress these new beliefs into your subconscious mind. Stick to 1 or 2 new beliefs a month. Don't try to do too much at once. As the months roll by, you will find you have a number of powerful new beliefs working for you. If I were you, I would write down your moral values. Come up with 20 moral values, things that are important to you. Humor, integrity, honesty, compassion, generosity, whatever the hell they are. And pick like 9 that you really, really love and write it in the most beautiful way and put it right next to your computer. Okay? And then come up with negative beliefs, like he just said, 2 a month, write in beautiful, beautiful handwriting and put it next to your computer. And the new beliefs are what you're going to be reading, and your moral values, your like spiritual compass, what makes you thrive and grin from ear to ear is going to be right by your computer. Okay? All right, let's continue. Imprinting. The imprinting technique is simple. You've been using it almost since birth. What did I say? You've used it to learn first your language and then facts like the multiplication table. You immediately know the answer to 6 times 6 or 8 times 7 because the answers have been imprinted in your mind through numerous exercises and repetition. Remember how many times you wrote and memorized your multiplication tables? You probably don't remember learning to read either, but you did so by the same method. Continually repeating words and phrases and correcting yourself or being corrected when you mispronounce or misuse them. Now you can speak your own language effortlessly because it's been imprinted into your mind. Like any other new information, ideas and beliefs must be imprinted in your mind before you can use them successfully and automatically. The thrill of a new idea cannot be sustained for long because inspiration, however strong, soon fades and disappears. However excited a person may be with a new idea, if she or he is unable or unwilling to follow through on the initial enthusiasm, inevitability, that person will lapse back into the original position of the old ways. When imprinting, use a combination of affirmations and contemplation. While repeating the idea to yourself, think about it, make it real to yourself, ignore contrary ideas. The new concept is still a tender shoot, nurture it through its first struggling stages. Be vigilant, for without care, your unruly old ideas like mental weeds will take over and crowd it out. There is a necessary germination period before any new idea or belief will take root and flourish in our consciousness. This takes time. It does not happen by whipping past a new belief once or twice or even 10 or 20 times. True imprinting requires 1 to 3 months before its effects are firmly fixed in the mind. That's 30 to 90 imprinting sessions of 5 to 10 minutes each day. Can you see why people who try to adopt a new belief by reading it once or twice are doomed to fail? I've tried to believe it, but I just can't, they say hopelessly. How hard did they try? Why do you think I tell you that when I read books, I sometimes read them 5, 6, 7 times to imprint it? There are books I haven't read in 20, 30 years. I still remember them because I did that. So it's not crazy to just keep. And some of the books that I buy, just so you know, as a tip, I get it as a hardback book or whatever, as a print book and Audible. Because like, I remember when I did The Secret, I had the tapes, I had the CD, I would have the CD playing while I slept. I had the CD playing while I vacuumed. I had the show, I had the book. I was hell-bent on changing the way I thought. And these things happen every 7 to 10 years, where you're reinventing yourself again and again. Don't think that you're it, that's it, you're done, you've made it. These processes of imprinting new concepts, new ideas will be something you do throughout your life as you go through these crossroad moments. Like I said, sometimes they're a year apart, sometimes they're 7 to 10 years apart. Be patient with yourself. You're doing good, okay? All right. And okay. So every new belief needs time and attention to flourish. Every new belief needs time and attention to flourish. And every new belief needs time and attention to flourish. He wrote this 3 times. Get the message? All right. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Who felt this? Who's feeling what he's talking about in terms of contemplation and imprinting? Who's getting this? Is this helping you? Please write in the comments because I really want you to interact with me. Interact with me. Thank you for the love, but I want to hear what you have to say. Yes, 100%. Me. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Do you see the value, right? You see how important it is. So you see, I'm using the word brainwashing because I know what everyone knows what the fuck that means. Okay, I'm writing them down by my computer as we speak. Bravo, Yessie, bravo. Are you ready for chapter 13? It's chapter 13, self-image. Something we were withholding made us weak until we found it was ourselves. Robert Frost. While most everyone would agree on the importance of a good, healthy self-image, few of us understand how to acquire one or realize how the one we now possess was created in the first place. Our self-image is exactly what it says, an image we have of ourselves made up of ideas that we have formed over the years. Once this image becomes imprinted on the subconscious mind, it takes on a life of its own, and we forget that it is something we have created, something which can be changed and altered. I'll give you an example. There are some adult children that will not outdo their parents. They're afraid. Did you know that? That there are people who literally are walking the planet going, if I am more successful than my father or mother or whatever, I feel like I'm disrespecting them. I swear to God, it's a real thing. Is that crazy? Yeah. Let us look closer at how self-image is formed. In childhood, when our worth was first established, we accepted all kinds of ideas about ourselves. If our parents were loving and supportive, we most likely feel relatively good about ourselves. If our parents abused, ridiculed, or belittled us, we may have a less positive self-image. As we grew up and moved away from our parents and out into the world of our peers and other adults, countless other experiences impressed themselves upon us. Unfortunately, if we have made a habit of dwelling upon life's inevitable disappointments, we may have made disappointment the central part of our overall image. Should I read it again? Unfortunately, if we have made a habit of dwelling upon life's inevitable disappointments, we may have made disappointment the central part of our overall image. Wow. Building a strong self-image. A car that is not maintained properly will inevitably become a wreck. A house that is not kept up will become run down and dilapidated. Your self-image, likewise, must be maintained if you want it to be strong and vibrant. It is through ignorance and neglect that a self-image deteriorates. Take responsibility. Take care of your self-image as you would take care of yourself. Life is full of temporary disappointments, heartaches, failures, and problems. If we are not careful, these can easily drag us down. We need to regularly reinforce our self-image in order to keep it healthy. We can do this by setting up a regular program to feed our mind with positive, uplifting, inspirational thoughts about ourselves. We can even cheat a little and include thoughts that aren't yet true. Remember, your subconscious mind will accept any thoughts about yourself that will regularly think, true or not, and that idea will eventually become part of your self-image. I'm going to tell you something very trite. Very trite. So when I was 18, 19, we used to spend a lot of time in the Bahamas, in Nassau. And I had decided that I wanted to have green eyes. Emerald green eyes. And I had been focusing on that for a long time. I was always swimming in the water, so the water was my conduit to making that energy real. And one day, I'm not joking, I'm on a boat with some friends, and they're all staring at me. I go, holy fuck, your eyes changed. They're not even hazel anymore. They're like fucking emerald green. What the fuck is this? And it had worked. It had worked. Thought become matter. Write that down. Thought become matter. What you think becomes true. It's a very simple thing to say. It's a very hard thing to master. Like, don't get me wrong, okay? But that taught me a lot. It taught me that I could be, but then, that I could be whatever I wanted. But then life happens, meaning you get distracted and thrown off course by multiple things. And so when you start this new, focused path that you're going to be taking on, buying some of these books and doing this every day, you're not going to be so apt to run off the road for 10 years. You understand? Or 20 years. Because now you're in a toxic marriage or a marriage that's just colorless, a colorless marriage. or situation or job. And you're like, oh yeah, I'll have time. I'm 37. Suddenly you're 57 going, what the fuck? I thought I'd have time to travel. I thought no, the job took over or the relationship took over. Whenever anything takes over you and your ability to contemplate, it's the wrong situation and it needs to transform. Radical transformation. All right, let me read the rest. 3 useful concepts can be imprinted, which will immediately strengthen your self-image. 1, you are unique. No one else has your thoughts, your ideas, or your ways of doing things. Most people think they are ordinary, but don't you make that mistake. Don't you just recognize your uniqueness. Proclaim it through your actions and in your daily thinking. Feel good about being alive and being you. Carry yourself with the dignity you deserve, and you put yourself at a great advantage. 2, you can do anything. We forget that life affords us countless possibilities and choices, and we too often become bogged down in our day-to-day routines, losing sight of what can be done if we put our minds to it. You can travel to any country. You can learn any language. You can start any business. You can learn to play any musical instrument. You can join any group. You can learn any craft. You can develop any trade. You can change careers. You can begin any project. You can think any thoughts. What you can do if you put your mind to it. What can't you do? What can't you do if you put your mind to it? You have programs already written into your vast computer mind that cover every possibility. I call them our holographic possibility. A tomato seed only has one possibility, and that is to be a tomato. A rose cannot do anything but to become a rose. Its fate is locked into that one reality. But you have infinite potential. The seed of whatever you choose to be is contained within you. 3, you have unlimited power. Every day of your life, you wake up with limitless power at your disposal. The power I speak of is the ability to choose your thoughts. Nobody tells you what to think or how to think. You and you alone determine what to do with this power. You can create, build, and strengthen any area of your life. You will become whatever. You might constantly think about yourself. Timid thoughts create timid people. Confident thoughts create confident people. Weak thoughts create weak people. Strong thoughts create strong people. Thoughts with a purpose create a person with purpose. Visionary thoughts create a visionary person. Thoughts of helplessness create a helpless person. Thoughts of self-pity creates a person with self-pity. Enthusiastic thoughts create an enthusiastic person. Loving thoughts create a loving person. Successful thoughts create a successful person. You are responsible for your own self-image, and you are responsible for creating and maintaining it. Acknowledge yourself regularly. Visualize, seed, and affirm positive qualities for yourself. Love yourself. Self-love is very important. Not I'm better than you are, but a nurturing feeling that says I'm okay as I am. A realization that you don't have to be anything other than who you are. It is ironic that the moment you can accept yourself as you are, you can easily change yourself and become something different. So long as you dislike yourself, it is difficult to change, for it is self-acceptance at the deepest level which frees us to move on. Take the pressure off. You don't have to be anybody other than yourself. Once you accept yourself, you can explore some of the other selves you might want to become. Do not compare yourself to other people. It's me talking. Don't ever compare yourself to other people. Okay? It's really... This is probably the worst thing, and I think it's something that men do in the shadows and women do overtly in public. Okay? Don't compare yourself to anyone. Don't compete with anyone. Ever. Because you will create massive suffering if you do that. Everybody has a different assignment. Can't compare. Beautiful. Exactly. Thank you for that, Tracy. Self-confidence. Insist on self-confidence. Settle for nothing less than a firm belief and conviction that you can and will succeed. If you have an unfortunate childhood, put it behind you. You are here now, and your future awaits. Okay, I want you to read the book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I have a feeling that's the next book we need to read together, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because she had a massive, her beginnings... she was abused in every which way you can imagine as a child. She was poor, dirt poor. And she is the Hay Foundation, the Hay Book Publishing. She founded those companies and the nonprofit. She is the queen of self-help. She published mostly all the books you've heard of. All the writers you've heard of, Wayne Dwyer, Deepak Chopra, all these people, she published them. Okay? So she, from nothing, wow, what a force. Okay? If you have failed previously, so what? The only thing that counts is that you now think what you do with those thoughts. As your self-image becomes stronger and more confident, life situation will become easier. For as you change, so does everything around you. It's entirely in your hands. Any questions or comments? Oh, let me read your comments. Perfect. Everyone has a different assignment. Yes, told that to someone today to read the book. Oh, beautiful. Good for you, Tammy. The job took over. The relationship took over. That is so true. Yeah. My self-image was based on the approval of others until 2 years ago. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Good. Okay. So any other questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Awesome, right? What a fucking awesome book. So now we're moving on to chapter 14. And at any point, if you want to do oracles, after I'm done with chapter 14, we can do, or we can go all the way through to chapter 15. I'm feeling good. I got all this energy. I don't know where it's coming from. Okay, 14, creativity. All the arts we practice are apprenticeships. The big art is our life. MC Richards. When we think of creativity, we usually think of writers, painters, poets, musicians, individuals who are active in the arts. But creativity is by no means limited to these callings. Running a successful business, innovative parenting, a fun and interesting life all require equal and sometimes greater amounts of creativity. Creative and inspired moments are vital to everything we do in life. Relationships, family, business, work, in our community. Successful people who live their lives with confidence count on their creativity to constantly come up with new ideas to propel them through day-to-day challenges. Are you creative? How you answer this question will determine many aspects of your life. How you view yourself, whether you trust your instincts, how you problem solve, and come up with ideas and solutions all depend on what your answer is to this question. Let me explain. Several years ago, I became aware of a study conducted by a major corporation concerned about the lack of creativity among its engineers. To deal with this problem, a team of psychologists were brought to find out what differentiated the creative people from those who were not. Company executives hoped that through the psychological findings, methods could be found to stimulate the less creative group. The psychologists conducted all kinds of tests to try to reveal what separated those who were creative from those who were not. Was there a magic ingredient? If so, what was it? They asked hundreds of questions, covering everything from educational background, upbringing, hobbies, to favorite foods and color, likes and dislikes. They probed beliefs and thoughts and attitudes, looking for the elusive key. After several months of study and several $100,000 worth of fees, the psychologists found what they were looking for. They were indeed a key factor that separated the two groups. The creative people thought they were creative, and the less creative people thought they were not. Did you hear that? Wow. The creative people thought they were creative, and the less creative people thought they were not. While this may in some ways seem obvious, it is actually starkly revealing in understanding who we are and how we live our lives. Does that make sense? So if you say to yourself, I'm a writer, you will become a writer and you will start having the life of a writer. If you say to yourself, I am a healer, that will become your reality. If you say, I am successful, that will become your reality. Will it come overnight? No. Will it take 2 years? Maybe. Yeah, quite possibly. So what? Enjoy the ride, right? All right. While this may in some ways seem obvious, it's actually starkly revealing and understanding who we are and how we live our lives. What was happening with the engineers is that those who believed they were not creative never allowed themselves to explore new and different avenues. Why bother when you have nothing to contribute? They simply felt they didn't have ideas and capabilities to be innovative. On the other hand, those who thought they were creative acted accordingly. They regularly and consistently tried new approaches and came up with new ideas and solutions, which in turn further supported their belief that they were indeed creative. So You can see the importance of the questions. Are you creative? Whatever you answer will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you answered yes, congratulations. With the technique presented in this chapter, you will learn to become even more creative. If you answered no, don't despair. No matter what you presently think of yourself, you do have incredible creativity within you. All you have to do is awaken it. By practicing a few simple techniques, you will discover your creativity and it will assist you to succeed at your goals and dreams. Soon, you will not only possess creativity, but you will come to value it as one of the most important tools of your life. We all possess creativity. It's our nature to be creative. It is part of who we are. Let me prove to you why he's correct. 100 years ago, everything we consumed, we made. From the rocking chair, to the home, to the bread, to the food we were, harvesting, to the clothes we wore, to the socks we knitted, to the sweaters in other words, every single thing that we consumed 125, 150 years ago, whatever, we had. So, and little by little, as things were mass produced, we lost our ability to hands-on create things for ourselves that would make us smile. Like that sweater, or those socks, or the hat, or the scarf, or that chair, or that table, or that painting. In other words, you get what I'm saying? So as we became too busy to create for our own comfort, relying on other people to bring us these goods, we lost the memory of how we are all innately creative. Does that make sense? So he's absolutely, it's not hard to figure out. Unfortunately, many of us were told at some early age that we were not creative, and we believed it. As a result, our creative instincts became repressed. Luckily, they can be reawakened and harnessed again easily. Wow. 6 creative techniques for a successful life. 1, be an explorer. It's one thing to be open to new ideas. It's quite another to actively seek them out. An explorer is forever trying novel and different ways of doing things. An explorer believes that there are new worlds, options, products, services, friends, methods, and ideas waiting to be discovered. An explorer will venture off the beaten path. Most significant advances in art, business, education, and sciences have come from someone exploring areas no one thought to investigate before. Explorers are not afraid of the unknown. They know that success and happiness come not from following others, but in finding your own unique way. So they forge ahead, always on the lookout. 2, ask questions. Question everything. The word question is derived from the Latin word quererea, to seek, which is the same root as the word for quest. A creative life is a continued quest. Asking, probing question is indispensable to growth. Don't take anything for granted. Be naive. Question everything. Said prolific inventor Buckminster Fuller, there are no dumb questions. The only dumb question is the one you didn't ask. So question everything. Why am I living like this? What am I doing at this job? Where have I restricted myself? Where do I need changes? Why do I have toast and coffee for breakfast every day? Why am I not exercising? How can I spend more time with my family? Why do I always go to the same restaurant? What talents have I been neglecting? What habits, if adopted and practiced every day, would revolutionize my life? I wonder what would happen if I approached this person, client, company. I wonder what would happen if we have doubled our product line. I wonder what would happen if I stopped watching TV. I wonder what would happen if we sold our home and moved to Mexico, Portugal, France, Nepal, Peru, Ghana, Africa, Japan. I have a friend who did just that. He asked himself that last question and liked the answer he received. He was married with 2 young children and a promising career, but he and his wife sold everything and moved to Mexico. His parents and most of his family thought he was crazy, irresponsible, especially with 2 young children, but it didn't stop him and his wife. They picked a quaint Mexican village known for its artistic community, and they moved there. He wrote his novel, his wife took up pottery, and the children adjusted to their new lifestyle. They spent almost 4 years in Mexico before eventually moving back again. While his novel never became a bestseller, he nonetheless followed his instincts and now works at a publishing house and is much happier than he was at his previous occupation. It was the most daring and best move I ever made in my life, he says with a broad grin on his face. It is essential not to censor yourself, no matter how impractical or outrageous the question or answer sounds. This allows for fresh, unanticipated insights to reveal themselves. If you're honest and open with yourself and diligently ask questions about every area of your life, you'll probably discover that some of these questions reveal blind spots and assumptions that deserve to be challenged. Others will open up others will open up needs and desires you've repressed. We are creatures of habit. We easily fall into routines that may have once served us well, but now may be holding us back and keeping us in a rut. Our future depends directly upon how well we question and examine our beliefs, actions, values, goals, and ways of living. Asking the right question is crucial for a creative life. If we want fresh perspective and new insights, then asking penetrating questions of ourselves and listening non-judgmentally to the answers will reveal untold creative opportunities for change. A lot of people won't move out of a country because they're afraid they only speak English. A lot of people won't move out of a country because they're afraid of taking their kids out of school. A lot of people won't move out of a country because they're afraid that they're leaving their family behind. And they never get to understand who they are in different countries. They never see other aspects or other fractal parts of themselves because you're not going to be the Yessie. The Yessie in the USA is definitely not going to be the Yessie in Japan. The Tracy in Portugal or Greece is not the same Tracy that she is in America. Why? Because the environment itself demands new rules of engagement and new behaviors. Does that make sense? That's why. You can't see yourself. You know what I mean? The same person will not be there. You'll transform. You'll have to. That's the point of moving. That's the point of doing things that make you a little bit uncomfortable. 3, get lots of ideas. The best way to get a good idea is to get lots of ideas, says Linus Paulding, Nobel Prize winning chemist. If you have only one idea, one solution to the problem you are facing, then you have only one course of action. That's risky in a world where flexibility is a requirement. The one answer, one solution approach becomes deeply ingrained in our thinking. Too often, when we look for a solution or answer, we take the first one that comes to us. Train your mind to look for many solutions. Allow your creativity and imagination to open up. Yes, that works, you say, but maybe there's even a better answer. Looking for the second, third, and fourth solution stimulates the creative imagination. Quite often, it's the second or third solution, the one that's a little unusual, that is exactly what suits our purpose. Guy Bouchard runs a successful advertising agency in Montreal. He is paid to come up with innovative campaigns for his clients. He has a rule, which he says has served him well in his career. I force myself to always come up with at least 3 different concepts for every campaign, and then I pick the best. I'm often tempted to break the rule, he says. Sometimes I'll have what I think is a brilliant campaign on my first idea, but I put on my thinking cap and come up with 2 more, even if I'm positive that the first one I will use. Sometimes it is the first idea is used, but more often than not, it's the second or third we end up running with. Whenever you find yourself thinking that you've only have one option available to you, remind yourself that you are not being creative. Life is filled with numerous choices and options. Open up your options by opening up your mind, thinking. Train yourself to think and find alternative solutions and options. 4, break rules. Break habits. Being creative often means breaking out of old patterns to create new ones. There is no particular virtue in doing things the way they have always been done. Sometimes breaking rules, initiating a revolution in our life, and overthrowing the tired habits and patterns that are keeping us stagnant is the most sensible ways to go. Scotty Bowman is well known in hockey circles as an innovative coach. He knows how to get the best out of his players. He won Coach of the Year in 1996 for leading his team, the Detroit Red Wings, to the most victories in a regular season, breaking the old National Hockey League record. He also has more wins than any other professional hockey coach and surpassed the outstanding 1,000 win mark in February 1997. When his team is not playing well, Scotty will often shake things up by putting players together who are not used to playing with one another. This contradicts the conventional wisdom that says you keep the same players on the same line because they know each other and can anticipate each other's move. Scotty is not afraid of trying different unorthodox combinations to gain results. I learned an interesting technique from a successful clothing manufacturer in New York. When I feel bogged down, she said to me, I change my sleeping patterns. Instead of getting up at 7 and going to bed at 11, I get up at 4 and go to bed at 9. Just changing this pattern seems to stimulate new ideas and productivity. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yeah. Let me read your comments. I love it. Asking questions made my life do a 180 from 3 years ago. Everything I believe I no longer do. Beautiful. Wow. I have to adjust the environment. Exactly. I later tried something similar with great results myself. For a 3-month period, I arranged my life so I had 2 distinct sleeping periods in a 24-hour cycle. I would get up at 4 a.m. and work till noon, go to bed at 2 p.m. and get up at 6, then work till midnight before retiring to bed again. This allowed me to be incredibly productive. Plus, I had the added advantage of having 2 morning periods where I seemed to be at my very best. I also had many more dreams, or at least remembered many more. If you're not obtaining the results you want in life, maybe you need to break some rules. What habits or patterns can you break? How can you shake things up? Where in your life do you need a revolution? Now is the time to lead the charge. Don't be afraid to stir things up. When the dust settles, you're often better for it. 5, use your imagination. Our imagination is not bound by real-world constraints. Our imagination knows no limits. Whatever your mind can conceive of and believes, you can achieve. Our creative imagination helps us to explore different options and envisions numerous scenarios and outcomes. By harnessing this faculty, we can change and improve our life. Here are 2 simple ways of using your imagination to come up with innovative ideas. 1, imagine how others would do it. What qualities do you admire in people? Whom do you respect for creative achievement, persistence, or vision? Pick a role model, someone you would like to emulate. It can be someone living or dead, someone you know well or have never met. Now imagine this person is in your position. This person is faced with your particular problem or challenge. Imagine this person actually in your body. The imagination is not bound by real-world constraints. Taking over your situation, he or she is now able to live your life. What would he or she do? How would this person, for example, John F. Kennedy, Nelson Mandela, John Lennon, Mother Teresa, go about it? What assumptions would they bring in? What constraints would they ignore? What special twist could they bring to the situation? What expertise would they add? What innovation or revolutionary change would they make? This process can be extremely valuable in moving us out of our self-imposed restraints and showing us options we hadn't considered. Think of this as channeling. You're channeling frequencies that you don't emulate right now that are completely, that you admire, right? And so you're channeling new frequencies, which raises your own frequency to match. And suddenly what was blocked inside of you emerges out with ease, and creativity just starts pouring out of you. Imagine this person conversing with you and advising you. This technique gained notoriety in the summer of 1996 when Bob Woodward reported that First Lady Hillary Clinton used it to have imaginary conversation with former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. It was taught to her by the brilliant author and scholar Jane Austen at Camp David Retreat. It is a simple technique which involves imagining yourself having a real conversation with a person you respect and listening to what that person advises you. Well, it must have worked, right? Because she sure in the hell came across as somebody else. Imagine if we had known what we know now about Hillary Clinton, on the side note. But you get what I'm saying? So if you are a scientist, have a conversation with Einstein. If you're a classical musician, have a conversation with Frédéric Chopin. If you're an author, have a conversation with your favorite writer, right? If you're a designer, a business owner, who is the business owner that you admire? I personally would have I'd have a conversation with Steve Jobs. Because without him, I wouldn't be talking to you on this phone. You know what I mean? Without him, kids with different learning disabilities would not have iPads. Without him, we would not have these choices. You know, Bill Gates was you have to understand, he was an innovator. Bill Gates was not. Okay, just so we know. So you may want to do that. So Gene Austin also guided TV host Larry King through an imaginary conversation with his mentor, the late TV legend Arthur Godfrey. This was done live on the Larry King Show in front of millions of viewers to demonstrate both the effectiveness and simplicity of the technique. Corporate executives and professional athletes alike use this mentoring technique to gain insight and inspiration. Does it work? Well, let's listen to what Napoleon Hill has to say. Hill is the author of Think and Grow Rich and shares how he would convene imaginary meetings with his invisible counselors. He chose 9 men whose lives and life works he had been most impressed with. People like Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford. Just before going to sleep at night, he would close his eyes and see in his imagination this group of men seated with him around his council table. It is worth noting that at those imaginary meetings, Hill was no passive observer. In his own words, here I not only had an opportunity to sit among those whom I consider to be the great, but I actually dominated the group by serving as chairman. Although Hill has stated most emphatically that it was all in his imagination and he didn't really believe he was conversing with the men, nonetheless, the ideas generated through the process were very real and they led him into glorious paths of adventure and wealth. Using this system, he successfully solved all the difficult problems confronting him and his clients, and it helped him to become a very wealthy man. 6. Fill the well. Filling the well means nurturing ourselves. We must learn to be self-nourishing, to be alert enough to be consciously replenishing our resources. The new 21st century person will learn to balance work and leisure more effectively. As the Zen saying goes, the bough kept forever taut will break. This is in fact what we ignore at our peril. When you value your creativity, you learn to stimulate the muse within. Fun and diversity are great stimulators. Most major achievers in this world have reported that they often make their biggest breakthroughs after taking time out from contemplation and reassessment. This is not hard to understand because when you are idle, your subconscious mind, the creative mind, advances full steam ahead. It's almost always during these quiet times that brilliant new ideas come forth. Filling the well means thinking fun, not duty. Do something different, unusual, stimulating. Surprise yourself by moving out of your normal routine. Take up a new hobby or activity: skiing, painting, glass blowing, hang gliding, water polo, gardening, whatever fills the well and nourishes you. A stimulated and excited mind is more receptive to new ideas than a mind bogged down with details and deadlines. And if you feel a little guilty having all this fun, simply remind yourself that you are filling the well. Let me read any comments or questions. Any comments or questions? Okay. It's time for personal renaissance. The first half of the 16th century was a time of intellectual and artistic rebirth in Europe. A surge of creativity propelled European society out of the Dark Ages into what we some call the Golden Age, the Renaissance. It was a time of Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael. Christopher Columbus had just discovered America. Vasco da Gama sailed to India. Cortez to South America. People's concepts and minds were expanding. There was a scientific revival. Cornucopia's discoveries that the earth revolved around the sun rather than the opposite. The printing press was invented. It was a time of extraordinary intellectual achievement and artistic vigor, and the influx of new ideas and culture opened up people's minds everywhere. As we rapidly approach the 21st century, we too have an opportunity to enter our own personal renaissance. Never before in the history of mankind has an individual been exposed to such a diversity of ideas, changes, and options. Old ways are rapidly giving way to new as we literally redefine the way we live our lives. To many, this is a daunting and overpowering prospect, but it needs not be. Our subconscious mind is successfully assimilating this new reality and will advise us of the opportunities opening to us. Creativity is a necessary skill for successful living. Fortunately, it is a skill that can be developed as it is innate within us. The creative spirit, when awakened, is much more than an occasional insight. It is the ability to regularly and constantly solve day-to-day problems in innovative and unique ways. It means going beyond the routine and conventional. It means tapping into the inspiration that is forever within us and flowing with ideas. A personal renaissance awaits you. Discover and use the creative spirit within, and it will transform your life into an exhilarating adventure. Fuck. I mean, wow. Wow. It's interesting how we have been trained like Pavlov's dog to sit in the corner and do what we're told. It is a it's problematic with most women. It is a problem. Women aren't adventurous. There are a lot of women that are adventurous, but typically the average woman, even if she's a spiritualist or she's seeking spiritual insight, will stay in her lane. You know that old saying, stay in my lane, I stay in my lane. I color within the lines. Dude, you better start coloring outside the lines and fucking zigzag and do U-turns and all kinds of fucking burnouts. Fuck the lanes. You know what I mean? It's time to say fuck the lanes. You want me to continue? Should I continue? You needed that. Oh, that's great. That's good to hear. I have to adjust to environment. I think I read that. The way I was raised prevented me from doing those things in the list. Oh, no kidding. Yeah. In particular, it's a problem for women because we're not encouraged to explore. Yeah, fuck the lanes. Exactly. We're not encouraged. And part of the reason why we're not encouraged is, let's be honest, traveling to Morocco, traveling to different countries, right? Alone. Certain countries, let's be honest, aren't safe for women. So right there, you're going to be like, but there's always a solution. Travel in a group. Travel with a crew of people. You know? Fun people, young people, old people, people who are into art, people. Freddie Silver does a group of traveling to Egypt. I've heard Egypt is a bitch to travel in, especially if you're a woman. It's a bitch. But he has a group, and it's a lottery now. That's how popular it is. It's a lottery. It's not cheap, but what a fucking bang-up job he does. So he does Egypt, he does South America, the Aztec pyramids, he does I think he does Stonehenge and the UK, things like that. But look for a group that's esoteric. Like me and Andromeda are looking to do a travel group of following the footsteps of Mary Magdalena in the south of France, in the southern parts of France, right? So look for things like that. There's another travel group that actually horsebacks across the Sahara Desert, through England, through you choose your potion. Where do you want to ride the horse? Through the Sahara? Through China? Where? And join the group for 8 days and ride. So there's all kinds of things that you can do where you're still going to feel safe. Yes, fear-based ideas stop me from doing a lot. Absolutely. My parents sheltered me. People thought I was crazy when I encouraged my daughter to move across country. I would love to join that traveling group with you both in France. Absolutely. We've been chomping at the bit talking about it for about, and all kinds of things happen. So I need to do that 369 and visualize that incredible group and a small group. So we have fun. We rent an Airbnb, we rent a villa or whatever, and we go and we rent a big van or 2 cars and a big van, and we just all pack up and we go to this site and that site and this site, and we go to Camargue and those kinds of places, and we have a blast, right? So to be honest with you, wouldn't that be amazing? Well, it's going to be amazing. We're going to say it's going to be amazing. So I have chapter 15, or we can go right into the oracle readings. I have some really cool oracle cards from the Mystical Shaman. But if you want chapter 15, let me know. Like, I need you guys to type. I love your interaction. Thank you. I love how adventurous she is. Yeah, we don't have it in us. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I first traveled, my first time being on a plane, it was in Africa. And I was put in a little box. I was like probably 3 or 4 months old. And they put me in a little cardboard box right next to the seat. By the time I was going on 2 or I think I was 3 years old, I remember I went on these old World War II planes with the metal seats. And I'll never forget, they were passing out sandwiches wrapped in wax paper. And it was like these old war planes. I kid you not, going to Africa. So for Africa was my first memory. And because it's such an extraordinary country. I have massive, like the first time I rode a horse was in Africa, in Ghana, right on the beach, right? So what I can tell you when people are, oh, my kids, I'm going to pull them out of school, pull them the fuck out of school. School's not teaching them shit except to be worker bees. Go ahead, go, just go. Take them to Peru, homeschool them, figure it out, just do it. Don't worry about it. Because that is going to educate them and teach them how to think more in more ways than any school can ever do. All these schools are doing is making these poor kids fucking stress out over goddamn exams that mean nothing. Let's do 15. Okay, you got it. Okay, let's continue. Chapter 15, no problem, only opportunities. Who can tell what is good or bad luck? Zen saying. Most of us dream of the day when we won't have any more problems. When everything will be, I'm going to have to laugh at this one because he's right. Okay, most of us dream of the day when we won't have any more problems, when everything will be resolved and our lives will be complete. But problems are an important and valuable part of our lives. And instead of trying to eliminate them, we should strive to understand exactly what they are. Nothing happens by chance. We are part of a universe that is forever giving us definite messages and signals, often in the form of problems. It is not an incident or coincidence that a particular problem is happening to you at any given point in your life. Our difficulties are signposts, waiting to read. Ask yourself, what is the problem I'm experiencing telling me about myself? What is it telling me about my thoughts, beliefs, actions, choices, lifestyle? What is this problem trying to tell me? Look closely and see if you can find the real cause. If you always feel sorry for yourself or helpless when a problem comes your way, you'll miss the important messages it brings. Become an alchemist. The medieval alchemist spent his lifetime trying to learn the secrets of turning ordinary base metal into gold. Much time and great fortunes were spent in this pursuit to no avail. Medieval alchemy failed because its practitioners were looking in the wrong direction. The real alchemist is the one who learns the secret of turning everything, every situation into gold, who learns how to make every situation serve him. Problems and difficulties can be used as a springboard to deeper insight, and the real alchemist understands that there are no such things as problems, only opportunities. No such things as problems, only opportunities. Once a person takes on these beliefs and works at finding the opportunities that are contained within each situation, the experiences that follow the simple chance of the change of attitude are quite startling. Margaret Kelly, a woman who had attended my thought dynamics seminars, found an opportunity to practice this principle one day at work. She was the director of a huge nursing home and together with her two assistants managed the day-to-day affairs of over 1,000 patients. If even one of her assistants was sick, it created havoc. So you can imagine the problems she faced one day when both called in sick. She panicked until she remembered that there are no such things as problems. There's only opportunities. Where is the opportunity here, Margaret thought. Then Margaret realized that she was always working through just her two assistants and that she really didn't know some of the staff they worked with. She told herself, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get to know these people. She spent the day talking and working with employees with whom she normally had little contact. She listened to their concerns and to their difficulties that they were having. In turn, led to a new and more effective way of administering certain duties. As Margaret Kelly later told me, the day turned out to be a wonderful opportunity and I accomplished so much. I doubt Margaret Kelly would have been able to turn such a tense situation to her advantage had she dwelt upon her so-called problem. It was changing her attitude from, I've got a huge problem, to there is no such thing as a problem, only opportunities, which had enabled her to try the new course of action, producing such rich results. Nancy Spencer was facing the biggest problem in her life when I first met her. She had been deserted by her common-law husband and left with 3 small children. She had no money, no marketable skills, no immediate prospect. It seemed like an insurmountable problem until Nancy began reminding herself that there is no such things as problems. There's only opportunities. But where? She searched over a week before she finally found the opportunity she was looking for. She realized upon examining herself that she had always been dependent upon someone. First her parents, and then her common-law husband. She had always allowed other people to tell her what to do because she had always been very low in self-esteem. Now, in the depth of despair, in a seemingly hopeless situation, she made a promise to herself. Nancy resolved to rise up and become a confident, successful person for herself and for her children. She would use this crisis as a springboard to become a strong and independent adult. I was pleased I had the opportunity of teaching Nancy the concept covered in this book, for she was an avid student and worked regularly and persistently onto her self-image, her beliefs, and her goals. I watched her change before my very eyes and saw her progress from taking her first menial jobs to opening her own wholesale flower business. Today, she is a happy, successful, self-confident woman married to a warm and sincere man. Did you hear that? She went from common law husband who abandoned her to being married to a warm and sincere man. She had to, let me explain something to you about many of you who are going through separation with your twin. Let's stop here for a minute. Many of you are going, I need my twin to do my mission. You're literally putting yourself in mental jail. You have to understand that the universe is asking you to cut loose and be completely independent from any desires to be with your twin. This is an opportunity for you to do massive soul growth and a 180 on what you do for a living, your career, whatever, however, whoever. You understand? And so she had to be alone. She had to take menial jobs. She had to start her own business, right? Basically is what wholesale flower business. And then she met the love of her life. That's how it works, my friends. Nancy believed that there are no such things as problems, there are only opportunities. Become an alchemist in life. Make every situation serve you. Remember that many times we complain about events which in retrospect were necessary for our growth and development. Those menial jobs taught her what? Inventory, cash receipts, bank deposits, how to market, how to place items. These little menial jobs. It taught her how to manage her money. It taught her how to budget, how to be creative with the food, with the supplies for the kids. Things like all kinds of shit started happening when she no longer relied on anyone to take care of her. And that's why she was able to first giddy up, start a wholesale business. Apparently she didn't, we're not talking about 3 or 4 businesses that failed. We're talking about then the business, then the man or woman, whatever the case. All right. Become an alchemist in life. Make every situation serve you. One of the greatest examples of turning happenstance to an advantage came about when researcher Don Stocky accidentally left some treated glass in the furnace so long it turned white. Undaunted, Stocky creatively turned that accident into a benefit by continuing to experiment with a new substance. And when he found out it could withstand searing heat, further refined and marked his mistake as Corningware, a product now found in almost every home in North America. Learn to use your stresses and struggles as challenges and opportunities, not liabilities or handicaps. Consider the story of entrepreneur Kathy Colby, who was born dyslexic, unable to tell left from right or read the time on the clock without great difficulty. My disability is one of the greatest advantages I have, she says. It helped me become a student of the thinking process. One day, Colby took the plunge with $500 in her savings. She launched a firm called Resources for the Gifted. She compiled a catalog of available resources for intellectually gifted children and sent it out to 3,500 teachers. At first, orders only trickled in, and even though they began to flow, the first years were hard. She bought a warehouse and the building caught fire. An employee embezzled money. Colby divorced her husband. In spite of everything, she never lost sight of her belief that there was no such thing as problem, only opportunities. Today, she grosses $3.5 million a year, and Resources for the Gifted continues to grow. American President Franklin D. Roosevelt was a paraplegic who had to be helped in and out of his wheelchair, yet he brought America out of the Great Depression and went down in history as one of the world's most respected and revered leaders. Why? Because he took them out of depression with a New Deal. All the roads we see, all the new railways, were because of this man, Franklin D. Bob Hawke rose from the depth of alcoholism to become an important labor leader and eventually Australia's Prime Minister for 4 successful terms. Wilma Rudolph was born poor and black in depression-stricken Tennessee when she developed polio at the age of 10. Life didn't seem very promising to Wilma, yet she surmounted all these problems and went on to win 3 gold medals in track and field at the 1960 Rome Olympics. Holy shit. 30 years later, another potential Olympian was facing the crisis of her life. Gail Devers was training to compete at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics when she suddenly broke out in sores all over her body. No one seemed to know what to do. Finally, she was diagnosed with Graves' disease, a condition that had doctors threatening to amputate her feet. She was within 2 days of losing her feet when she finally began improving. Overcoming this adversity, she went on to win the 100-meter race in Barcelona, and then with a home crowd of 85,000 cheering her on, she repeated this amazing feat back in Atlanta in 1996. I wouldn't change a thing, said Gail, looking back at her ordeal. It was a blessing. It made me the person I am today. It made me a stronger, better person. Can you imagine? Polio and Graves' disease, the threat of amputation 2 days before the Olympics? Are you fucking kidding me? And she overcame that? That's mind power. The founding director of a highly successful investment firm shared with me his secret for hiring top performers. We don't hire any senior people here unless they've had at least one major failure in their life. Did you hear that? We find that people become more committed and determined as a result. It makes for a better person. We're failing our children when everyone gets a showing up award. We're failing our kids. No one except the winner who places first, second, and third should get a trophy. The other kids need to learn how to fucking be honest and have integrity and go, well, I'm not a good sprinter. I wasn't good. It's okay to learn how to take failures and to take it on in the chin and to shake hands and honor those who beat you. Yeah, that creates character. We are creating little babies, perpetual babies in adult bodies by not letting children lose. It's a massive problem. What opportunities are waiting for you right now in your life? You will never know until you look for them. Very seldom do opportunities stand up and wave a flag at you. They more likely come disguised as problems or failures. But opportunities do exist in abundance for all of us. And if you are willing to open up and explore your problems with this new attitude, some exciting surprises await you. Your struggles and stresses are challenges and opportunities. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, I believe very much in the struggle. Wow. Does anybody have questions or comments? I relate now that I'm a widow and trying to rebuild my own. Yeah. And don't say trying. You're rebuilding. You have no choice. You're a widow, so you're rebuilding. My son plays competitive soccer, and he uses failures to teach him, and it never brings him down. Yeah, cool. And that's important. You're in Canada, but right? So they don't give you like, okay, so you showed up, so here's a fucking trophy. There's something wrong with that shit. We're creating little like I said, I don't even want to say the word, but anyway, you guys want to continue to chapter 16, or do you want to go into let me just give you the quote. I think I'm going to stop here, to be honest, because I want to do some oracle reading. But healing ourselves is chapter 16. Hopefully, I'll be 100% ship-shape tomorrow. The mind is a great healer. Hippocrates. The mind is a great healer. Isn't that true? That's like amazing to me. So any questions or comments? You guys have anything else to share? Are you ready for the next... are you ready for oracle readings? Because I think it'll be fun. The first thing I'm going to pull out, just because I want to do that right off the bat, is the protocol of the crystal mandala. And I want to know what crystal is being... what the universe wants you to look at in terms of crystals and archangels or masters, okay? All right. So give your angels, guides, and allies. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me put the phone here. Give your angels, guides, and allies permission to guide you. And then pick right, left, or middle. Right, left, or middle. And let's see what kind of crystal that you may want to consider buying or pulling out of your, altar or wherever. You might have the crystal that we're going to pull today. Top, bottom, or middle? Okay, so top, bottom, or middle? Top, bottom, or middle? Not left, not right. Did I say right, left, or middle? I did. Okay, so let me go from the top. Left. Okay, so the card for the left, because it was, there were more people there, is 11, Archangel Gabriel, and and it's turquoise. Safe to be seen. Did you hear that? This is perfect for you guys. Safe to be seen. Crystal Angels 444. Archangel Gabriel. And again, the crystal is turquoise. All right. So I'm going to briefly read. And again, it's 11. Safe to be seen. Now, in Kabbalah numerology, 11 is the muzzled lion, muzzled, as in, muzzled. And in tarot, it's justice, righting the wrongs, balancing. So I'm going to read the first part. Okay. Actually, I'm probably going to read the whole damn thing. It looks pretty good. All right. Safe to be seen. We bring you the gift of safety and being seen. Over lifetimes, you have loved the earth, returning again and again to serve humanity, liberate the human soul from fear and spread a message of love. You have spoken truths, shared messages, and inspired many. Yet in your visibility, sometimes you have felt misunderstood and vulnerable. You have been admired and loved, but at times also feared and attacked for the empowering message you brought to the world. In you, there is a memory of this. And although you wish to share your light with the world, again, there are times when the thought of being seen doesn't feel safe. We are here to let you know that you are protected in divine grace. It is safe to open up your inner knowledge and to share your message with the world. The light in you is stronger than fear. It is time to shine fearless and bright. Old souls know only too well that fear will not hesitate to destroy love. If given the chance, you must not let fear do this to you. You have a choice. Through the loving power of your forgiveness, you give yourself freedom from past pain, even pain from other lifetimes that isn't entirely clear to you, and the opportunity to begin afresh with fearless, vibrant, and loving truth. You have many loving words to share and a higher consciousness to be. In your own way, in your own world, in your own relationships, you are a light bearer and a bringer of truth. Although you've had past experiences where this was not always well received, and sometimes resulted in abusive behaviors towards you from those who were afraid of love, you have never closed off from your truth. You still know what you know. You may have become reluctant to share it so freely, but you cannot forget your inner wisdom. This oracle comes to you with a message. It is safe for you to be seen in this lifetime. You are meant to be a spiritual leader of sorts, to bring through the light, peace, love, and guidance that others around you need. Don't be afraid of their reactions. Some will love you for what you do. Others may not understand or may resist or even attack in fear. But in truth, you cannot be harmed. You shall always be what you are, and no one can ever take that away from you. It is simply not possible. No matter how many times you have been blocked, denied, dismissed, or abused, you find your way back to the truth of your heart again and again. So your soul has learned over time that your spirit is indestructible. It has learned that the truth of love is always there for you. Love will always welcome you into its arms, and you will always feel at home within your heart, even if you don't always feel at home in the fear-based belief system that still so many consider to be reality. We're going to pause. Isn't this incredible? Oh my God. Hang on, Scorpio life. Oh my God, I thought earlier that my biggest fear is being seen. I understand. I have seen 11 all day. Wow. Yeah, so let me just say this. Just to put into context for you guys. You may want to go and I have a guided in YouTube. I have a very short, it's like 10 minutes. I think it's a perfect amount of time. It's a soul retrieval guided meditation, okay? And I want you to go and do it tonight, okay, for tonight. And what you're going to do when you search it is most popular, right? Or you're going to have to scroll all the way down. But just do most popular and it'll come up. It'll be like the top 3 videos, and it is one of the top 3. And that's going to help you because in soul retrieval guided meditation, what I do is I guide you through a hallway. It's like a crystalline hallway, and you have doors to open up. And you can stop at any door, and that door will be divinely guided to you to open. And you may step into a past life that was either very traumatic or very promising, where you spoke your truth, whether you were punished for it or applauded for it, or you may even open the door and it's a black abyss. Don't freak out. Just look at it. Go, oh, what is this? Just ask the abyss, what is this? Should I step in? So whatever is revealed to you, don't run. Face it. And then figure out what's being revealed to you. Okay? And that could actually help you pinpoint what it was that made you feel so afraid to be seen. Do you understand? I mean, and when I say seen, I don't mean physically seen, okay? I mean seen as a painter, seen as a dancer, seen as a writer, seen as a poet, seen as whatever, however, right? All right? Any questions or comments? Okay, cool. So let's continue. Okay, let me read a little more. This oracle brings you guidance. You have already had these experiences in the past. You do not need to continue having them. You have decided that no matter what, you shall be in the truth of your inner light. You have decided that you shall continue to serve love by helping humanity as much as you can, because you know the divine loves the human race and has a plan for human evolution from fear into love. You know that love serves its own. As you serve love, love serves you. Write it down. Write it down. Pull out your papers. As you serve love, love serves you. As you serve love, love serves you. You have developed the strength of knowing your own truth. You have survived and healed yourself through situations that threaten this truth, and still you are here. You have heard lies and you have chosen to release them and to trust in your truth. With your loving heart on your spiritual journey, you have learned how to shine true. So you are ready to be seen. You shall not be cast down. The love in you is stronger than the fear, rejection, doubt, or resistance in any other. You have no need to convince anyone of anything. You just have words to speak and a truth to be. It is safe to be seen for who and what you are. Let go of fear and take the next step on your life journey now. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was incredible. So the next oracle deck that I'm pulling out is from, it is a very good deck, actually, I have to admit. It is not by Alana Fairchild. This deck is by Colette Baron Reed, and it is a pretty kick-ass deck. It's called the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. I actually reviewed it years ago when I first bought it, and yeah, it's a really cool deck. I think I might have actually a video on it on my website, if you go on my website. Okay, so I need you to go ahead and, again, top, bottom, or middle. Let's choose. Let's see what the message is. Top, bottom, or middle, okay? And majority win. Top, bottom, or middle. Top, okay. Majority wins. Top. My phone is dying. I have to jump off. Thank you. Good night. Take care. Top. Okay, I'm going with top. The Council. It's called the Council, and guess what? The number is fucking 11. We just had 11 before. You can't make this shit up. Okay, so it's called the Council, and the number is, again, 11. Okay? You can't make this up at all. Not at all. Wow. Let me read to you this, and we'll call it a night after that. Exactly. Thank you. You get it. All right, the essence. The council are the luminous beings who hold the collective wisdom of humanity. They are the ones before whom you will do your life review when you cross into the world of spirit. A life review is when we place our good and our bad deeds on a divine scale and attempt to explain why we did not love or forgive or dare as greatly as we might have. Know that their wisdom is available to you at all times when you live in a state of yes, in an unconditional relationship with life. They remind you of your place around a sacred fire, which has been reserved for you since the beginning of time. You will claim it when you own your own wisdom. The invitation. The council has a message for you. Listen with your inner senses. The handwriting is already on the wall, so look about you and you will discern its meaning. Do not wait for further signs. Embark on the journey to love deeply, forgive sincerely, and dare greatly. Take the leap without requiring life to assure you of success. The medicine. You are never alone. Turn to the council to find guidance you seek and listen to the voice that arises spontaneously. Turn a deaf ear to that nagging voice from your ego that tells you that you are not up for the task before you. Create a spiritual feast for the council. Invite them to your altar every time you meditate or pray. What a fucking amazing... That was like... I'm so glad I pulled out this deck. You know, I think I want to do another card from this deck because this was amazing. Are you up for that? Another card? I'm just asking. If not, we'll call it a night. Okay? So I'm going to shuffle if you guys are up for it. Top, bottom, or middle. Top, bottom, or middle. I think I'll start pulling out this deck as well. Yeah. Top, bottom, or middle. Great. I'm glad you want to. Top, bottom, or middle. Wow. Bottom. Okay. Middle. Oh, bloody hell. Majority wins. Top, bottom, or middle. Top, bottom, or middle. I need one more to break the... All right, come on, guys. Top. So, bottom. Okay, I need one more to break the tie. Middle. Okay, perfect. All right, Pachamama, she was coming. I had a feeling she might come in. So Pachamama is another word for Bhumi, Gaia, Mother Earth, okay? It's number 40, which is 4, which when I call the volunteer, the number of the volunteer, I mean, many of us volunteers, so don't get me wrong, but it is definitely somebody who basically did not have to come here. 4 is the 4 of wands, the 4 of cups, the 4 of swords. It's just, you know, it's interesting number for me. Okay, so let's begin. The essence. Pachamama represents the unconditional love that the earth has for all her children, including the stones, the plants, the animals, and humans. She is the goddess of earth, also known as Gaia, who pervades all creations on our planet. Thanks to Pachamama, our timeless soul can experience life in a biological body. The joy and pain we taste during our brief time on earth are invitations to discover the boundless love of Pachamama. As I say in many, many lives, it's not this planet you hate, it's the infrastructure. Never forget that. When you say, I never want to come back here again, it isn't the planet you don't want to come back here. It's the current fuckery of the system that's been oppressing our incarnated selves for thousands and thousands of years. So we're here to create a new earth, right? Pachamama is begging us to take care of her now and to escort her out of this fuckery, okay? The invitation. You are a child of the earth. Now it is time to eat right, love right, and be joyous regardless of the circumstances you may find yourself in. Be grateful for your life, your body, and all that nourishes you. Pachamama invites you to relish each breath, embrace your joy and your pain equally, and discover love through both. Let Pachamama know how much you appreciate all her blessings with an act of service, such as planting a tree, helping save an endangered species, or protecting the ocean. I'm going to give you... I have a guided meditation where you open the 4 corners above and below, where you actually put your head, you introduce yourself to Pachamama, because I'm pretty sure many of you have never actually gone on your hands and knees, put your forehead to her body outside, and started talking to her and saying, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry I didn't see you in these past incarnations. I have pillaged you. I have hurt you. I've harmed your children, both of fur, fin, and feathers, and children that were my brothers and sisters. I have done that in past lives. I thought you were here for my own gains, but I was wrong. And now I see you. So it's a guided meditation. Well, it's kind of like instructions on how to connect with Pachamama. And this kind of apology, once you do it, you actually don't have to do it again. But once you're doing your apology, stay there in that position and listen, because she will speak to you. I'm not joking. She will speak to you. Okay, let me continue. The medicine. You still believe that you have been cast out of the Garden of Eden, that you are motherless and homeless. You suppose that you need to work very hard to survive or thrive. It is time to stop suffering. Let go of that old myth and realize you were given the garden to rejoice in and to become its steward. What did I just say? Your melancholy is really a longing to return to the heart of Pachamama. Listen deeply to the mother who is always there for you. Walk in beauty and honor all life. Holy shit, what a great card. Wow. All right, one more. We're going to do one more card, and then, we're going to call it a day. The messages are so good that I don't know, but I'm being told one more card, and we're done. All right, top, bottom, or middle. Top, bottom, or middle. Any comments or questions on the reading? Any comments on Pachamama? So it's in my profile. Look up, I think you can look, yeah, it's under guided meditations. I just remembered. So look at the tabs and you can find the four corners above and below. Top. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to go right to it. The Heart of the Sky, 24. So we're doing the Galactic Council, 11. Pachamama, Mother Earth, and now we're going right into the Heart of the Sky, 24. 24 is love, money, and creativity in Kabbalah numerology. It's number 6, Venus, planet, and love. And 24 is literally, it's connected to love and the lovers. Okay, so let's read that card. It's called the Heart of the Sky, 24, the essence. The heart of the sky is the love force that made all creation possible. This same force is present when you create with originality, when you bring formlessness to form or inspire ideas to expression. This primeval force does not know good or bad. It is up to you to provide the clear intentions that will guide it to manifest. The heart of the sky helps us call in beauty from the invisible world and birth it into the world of matter. The invitation. The heart of the sky brings you a sacred reminder. You are a channel for the original energy of creation. Become the paintbrush, the canvas, the artist, all guided by the heart of sky. Set your intention ethically and clearly and allow the universe to take care of the details. The medicine. You may feel responsible for everything and everyone. Perhaps you think you have to do it all alone. This takes you into a dark hole where you lose trust in the natural order of the cosmos. Shed your lofty sense of duty and recognize that this is a false prison of your own making. You can open the door and set yourself free in an instant. Holy God. That was amazing. All of these were from Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. The crystal, the turquoise I read, which was 11. So we started with 11. The council. We started with the turquoise and Archangel Gabriel, which was 11 from the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Lana Fairchild. Incredible. Any questions or comments? Anything you want to share? What are any downloads you want to share with the rest of the people here? It says, if you spoke directly to me, thank you. Yes. Well, it's probably why you're on this live, because many of you needed these messages. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. Those were exactly what I needed to hear. Beautiful. I'm glad. And then we actually read, I believe, 4 chapters today of Mind Power into the 21st Century. If you want to join me tomorrow, we'll go ahead and do that. Raphael 119. Very good. So we will continue. We will finish that book. And I don't know. I'm still thinking about what's our second book that we're going to read. But we need to start reading some stuff and start talking about and having these discussions about how we're going to recalibrate our brain, train our monkey mind, and just make sure that you're working on your chakras. If you did not work on your 9 somatic chakras today, please work on them before you go to sleep. You can do it laying down in bed. That's not a problem, but do it. If you don't know where your 9 somatic chakras are, go ahead and look up my guided meditations on my profile page. Look up Ho'oponopono. You can look up, do Ho'oponopono. It's probably the simplest one you guys can do. It's probably the perfect one, and it will actually help you sleep. Any last words from anyone before I go? Any last words or comments? Thank you for the like. All right. So I will upload this live so that you'll have part 3 of Mind Power into the 21st Century. Thank you, my Scorpio life. Much love to you all, okay? I'll see you on the flip side. Take care. Namaste. Bye-bye.